Good morning to everyone. Happy Wednesday. Hump day. September the 27th. Today's the 27th? I think it's today's the 27th. Yeah, September the 27th. We are barreling through this month, boy. We are barreling through this month. We are going to wake up on the other side of October when this whole week is said and done. Crazy how this thing keeps going so fast. But I'm excited. Once again, always excited to talk to you. Always excited to see the fam. I saw you guys this morning in the chat an hour before the show, just talking, just enjoying yourselves. I was like, I see you. And so when I saw that, I was good, man. I was on my walk, looking up stuff, looking at armadillo. Yeah, I saw armadillos on my walk. I was like, man, I am in Texas, baby. I'm seeing an armadillo. Or how you say in Spanish, armadillo? And when I see one of those on my walk, man, I already know, like, it's going to be an interesting day. So good morning to everybody. Come on in, file on in, because we're going to have a good show, obviously, hopefully for you, an informative show, fun show, all those kind of things. So let me do what I always love to do before I get too far down the line. I always like to shout out the people who get in here early. I don't know. I just enjoy just telling you guys, like, when you guys are the first ones in here, love it. And then when some people come in at 9 and 10, that's cool. But to the other people, SEC Hook'em, I saw you in here very early. Nino Season doing homework, gonna watch this later at work. Hook'em. All right, love the show. Love you, Nino. Appreciate you. Nino Brown. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. S Soto 806, Zio_V is in the house. Robert is back. I see you, Robert. Glad that the other week you wasn't in as much, but I'm glad you're back on your porch. Longhorns in here. Alan is always in here. It's always good to see you. Agent Z is back in the house. I already mentioned SEC. Let's see. Ben Ivy. Okay. Out here hunting some doves, just like we'll be hunting some Jayhawks on Saturday. Damn. All right, JV. Ben, don't scare off your hunt, man. What do you use? Shotgun? We hunt doves with a shotgun. It got to be a shotgun, right? All right, probably. Blake Winfrey. You can tell how much I hunt. Cotton's always in the house. Nick is back. Just another fragrance reviewer is going to check us out before he get ready to go to work. Texas Mama says no shots today. Texas Mama, I got a guest at 10:20. Don't speak too early. Don't speak too early, Texas Mama. I know this guy, but I don't know if he knows how to pronounce my name, and I've known him for a couple of years, so this is going to be really interesting how he does it. Anthony's in the house. David's in here. Money B of Solway's in here. My main man, Mike Harges, is in the house. Good to see you, Mike. Lewis is in here. Chris Nelson, the original OGCB, is in the house. Chris Bennett. Benji, just a dude. SEC Matt. Money Matt. That's what I'm going to call you, but SEC Matt. Money Matt in the house. Mr. Prize picks himself. You need to be on the show on Thursday, SEC Matt. The hell with the rest of us. We need to sit our ass down and see what the hell you got. 2,500, but hopefully you can win the look. Now, here's the challenge, SEC Matt. You use those tickets, right? The money to buy tickets. This week, the challenge is using that money to cover your hotel. Cover your hotel, the fairgrounds, like all that kind of stuff coming up. You guys are fairgrounds people, by the way. What's your favorite fairground food? Like for you guys who go to the fairgrounds, like what's your favorite with Florida State Fair? What's your favorite food out there? I don't eat it a ton, so I'm just kind of curious. I don't want to go and buy the tickets. I don't know. I was like, I don't want to go to buy the tickets, stand on the line to buy the tickets, and then stand on the line for the food. I don't always do all that. I'm always got a lot of things going. Usually when I get to the fairgrounds, I'm slightly hungover. And then by the time the game's over, I want to go home, back to the hotel room and start driving. So start riding for the next day. Text guy, good to see you. Mr. Bucky's himself. BK. Oh, good way, man. Man, BK's been a while. Brian Kennedy's in the house, man. It's good to see you. Man gave me the song for the original podcast. Like, it's good. It is good to see you, BK. We have not spoken in a long time, man. But man, it's really awesome to see you. I'm Potato. Good morning from College Station. Hey, Get it when you fit it. And what's up, Kiki? Good to see you as well. Turkey legs and corn dogs are the staples. All right, for the fair people. BK, man, I'm BK. I'm serious, BK. It's been a long time since we have chatted with each other, and yeah, yes, I used to do a podcast. I did, Drunk Uncle's podcast before. I did it in the video form. I did it in a podcast audio form for years, and I never had like an intro or anything like that. So BK I mentioned like I got to figure something out. So BK kind of sends me the song. And he's like, you should do this. And I was like, look, listen to the song. I was like, really love this song. I was like, man, I don't have the rights to it. So I ended up contacting the artist. I was like, hey, would you mind if I use this for the intro of my song? And they said yes. And so it was great. I absolutely loved it. Now, the issue now with this is that he gave it to me. The podcast is fine, but now YouTube copyrights, they flag every damn thing. Like you guys don't know how many things that they'll flag if they feel like there's a copyright on it. And so I could ask for permission, but then I gotta get flagged every other day from another company that says no. So I haven't used it for this, but BK, man, it's good to see you, man. You impacted my life in a very positive way, and I'm very happy, Mr. Atlanta himself. And of course, Mark, he says Fletcher corn dogs. All right, that's what's up, everybody. All right, so today I'm gonna have my main man Alex Dunlap. Alex Dunlap is gonna be in the house at 9:30, and Alex is just, Alex is to me, he's like Kramer from Seinfeld. Like he's just entertaining. Like I don't know what he's gonna say, and I don't know if Alex would even view that as an insult because I like Kramer. The Kramer from the Seinfeld, not the comedy show Kramer that went a little bit off the rails. I don't know what the hell that was about, but I mean like that Kramer, right? But he'll be in here, and at 10:20, Texas Mama, 10:20. Hold on, Texas Mama, because I'm gonna have a person come in by the name of Collin Wilson from the Action Network. He's really, really good. Action Network does things with like it's not called. I don't think you're not allowed to use the word gambling. So it's called gaming, I think is what it's called. Like there's like trickery with the words or whatever. But they do things like that. And it's not necessarily here to give us gambling advice, but he does a lot of really good research that goes into the things that they come out with. I really like Action Network. He's really good. He's informative. I don't know. He may not be as good as the guy I brought in that did the with the coaching metrics. But I think if he brings it, I think he's going to be a really good interview. I don't know if he's going to say Anwar or Anwar, so we'll see. We'll see. Get the shots ready just in case, baby. So I'll have him in on the 10:20 hour as well as, again, as we talk a little bit more Texas. We got a little more Kansas. A lot of topics to get into. I'll do buy or sell today as well. I don't think I got into all your buy or sell questions yesterday. So I'm definitely, if you didn't get your question in yesterday, we got some more. We'll do more of that today as well. So I'm going to try to hit that heavy today. I enjoy talking, but I also want this to be an interactive show a lot of times as well. So we'll do buy or sell today, social media standouts as well. So come on in, sit on down. If you just got to work, hey, have a good time. Put the headset in so the boss don't know what's going on and start getting your work day started. If you're on your walk, go ahead and listen to me. If you listen to me on replay, what's up? Hope you had a fantastic day. Whatever it is, man, I appreciate it. Nothing but positive vibes today. Nothing but positive vibe, positive energy. I'm all into that. Like as older I've gotten, the more positive I've tried to be. Someone comes in here and talks some BS. I'm not trying to get all that. I don't want to fight no more. The fighting spirit is gone. I rebuked that out of my life. I still get down though. Don't lie. Don't play, man. Don't play. But I try all positive vibes today on September the 27th. Okay. Speaking of positivity, there ain't nobody more positive than Eric Torres. There's nobody in this world who's more positive than my main man, Eric Sells Homes DFW. Listen, if you are looking for a home in the DFW area, you don't have to look any further than my main man, Eric Torres. He has got you covered. He's a man with the master plan. So you out there, DFW, and we're going to be out there. Maybe when you're going to go out to Arlington for the Big 12 Championship game, you say, man, I might want to live out here in DFW. I might want to live out here in Fort Worth. and see what this thing is like. I might want to look at out here in Arlington and post up here for a while. I think I like living out here in all the surrounding areas. He's a man. He's got you covered. It's Eric Sells Homes, DFW. Got the QR code. Do your thing with the phone. It's there. And when I talk about positivity, Mr. 12-0 himself. I mean, if he gets by the next 2 weeks, you will not be able to tell that man anything. You will not be able to tell that man anything. And boy, if he does, man, we might just get on this thing and drink every morning. I'm not just celebration weeks. Nah, we're not going to do all that. But we'll go to specs and make sure we have that happen. So Eric Sells Homes, DFW. He's a man that's got you covered. A couple more people in the chat. Just want to acknowledge there. Let's see. Dale is in the house. He goes, I'm in here, Brody, in the words that a man never wants to hear. I'm late, but I'm here. Hey, Dale. Hey, listen, that's how my second child got here. Boy, look at here. Me and my ex, we were broken up, and then we got together. It was around, she started talking like a couple of weeks before her birthday, right around this time, actually. Oh, no, nearly 5 years ago. 6 years ago. We got back, went out. I took her out, had a bunch of old fashions. We reconnected. She went her way. She called me a couple of months later. She said, yeah, I'm pregnant. I was like, congratulations. And she's like, no, it's yours. I'm like, what you mean? What? Huh? Yeah. And there's my son 5 years later. So Dale, I understand, boy. You took it back. I'm gonna be talking about PTSD. That happened. That absolutely happened. Stupsify, it's good to see you. I was asking about you the other day, wondering where you were. Good to see you. I'm hoping that what the hell happened here? What is going on over here? Wait, what's going on in the chat? You don't see it? On my end of the chat, it's telling me to log in. It's telling me to log in with a password or continue with Google. So I cannot see the chat. I can't see the chat right now. So it's okay. Just to let you know, I'm gonna take a quick picture of this. I'm gonna let you so you can see, and I'm gonna send it to you because I literally cannot see anybody, and I can see that. I can see what's on your screen, but I cannot see. I'm gonna show you what's on mine, Aaron, real quick. This jump threw me off. I cannot see. All right, Aaron, look at my. Hold on, it's going through. Guys, give us 1 second. See, Aaron, can you see what's on my screen? Look at your stuff. Okay, so all right, let me do this then. Let's go to a quick break. Let me go hit the reset on everything. And I'm going to come on back because I was just about to say hello to Stupsify. Stupsify, you brought my damn chat over here, man. It would take somebody from OU. I was just about to say something nice about you, Stupsify, but damn it, man, you done messed up my show. Damn it, man. Nah, I just messed with you. Something technically has happened on my portion where the entire chat is going in, and now it's asking me to log in on some BS. I don't even know. Log in on what? Hold on. Let me try this. Hold on. Let me try this. Let me try this. Let me see if this works. It's back. I got it back. I logged in under the Orange Bus thing. Damn it, Stupsified. I'm going to still blame you. But it's good to see you. Stupsified, I don't know what the hell that was. But Stupsified, I'm going to tell you this. I'm hoping that OU has some success this weekend. I'm hoping that they pull off a win. I'm telling you, Stupsified, my petty dream is Texas and OU in the Big 12 championship game. That's what I want. I think evil forces can combine to make that thing happen and just make your mark just sit there crying salty tears about the two teams that are about to leave, as much of a hater as he's been. So wishing y'all success going in and wishing that I'm hoping those are the last two teams standing. I'm serious about that. That's pettiness in there. Now, once you get past that, the Big 12 championship game kind of is what it is. But yes. It's good to see you, Stupsify. I don't, you family here, man. But you can come on in here. There's nothing but love on this show for everybody, and I'll see you out at the fairgrounds, hopefully. So let's talk a little bit about it. Let's talk a little bit of football. Now that I got everything back, now Unc's out there, and thank you. I got my Godfather shirt on today. For those who are wondering, So yeah, I do. I'm representing that one today. So thanks, Bennett. Chris Bennett noticed it, and I just yes, I'm representing the Godfather today. So okay, let's talk about it a little bit. I'll kind of set it up like this. So as we get ready for this weekend's matchup, Texas versus Kansas, two 4-0 teams playing on a Saturday afternoon at 2:30. Could have not chose a hotter time for that thing to have happened, but nonetheless, Texas will be prepared. We'll see if Kansas is ready for this heat. We know for one thing that Texas will be ready because they've been practicing this heat. I've kind of let you guys know, kind of a little bit of a sidebar, but if you missed some of the shows, it's just kind of relevant information. One of the reasons why they practice in this heat all throughout the summer is that they just wanted these guys to be ready for September in the heat that they were going to be in. So everything over the summer was about getting this team mentally tougher. Sure, the bubble was there, but yes, it was hot. We know how hot it was in the summer. I mean, you guys know every single day it was like 110, 112. I mean, it was crazy, and they had those guys out there practicing, but it was for such a time as this that one of the guys, I think I told you, as I was at the Texas Alabama game, obviously a few weeks ago, I was up there in Tuscaloosa, and I'm on the field after the game, and someone grabs me from the Texas side and says, "This is why we did that." They said, "Do you know that this is the coolest temperature that we've been in since July?" I was like, nah. I mean, it's like, this is the coolest that it's been. He goes, and this is why we practice the way that we practice. So when we got into stuff like this, we would be all right. I'm like, can't argue with it. Can't argue. Can't sweat the technique, right? Somebody may have caught that one. But you get, that's that thing. So when Texas plays against Kansas, and there's going to be probably a really warm afternoon, just know you're going to have players that are this. It won't phase them. The heat will be the last thing that's on their mind. Now we'll see if it's on Kansas's mind, because I think with Kansas, I got to go back to some of their early victories against Texas. I don't know how many have been early in the heat kind of victories. I feel like they've always been later in the season, if I'm correct. So I'd have to look that up. I feel like if I'm correct, as I start thinking about it, I feel like they've always been in November. I feel like when Kansas has had the success, I don't have it in front of me, but I feel like it's been in the later where it's been kind of cooler in there. I don't remember Kansas coming in here in September and having that kind of success. I feel like that the Charlie Strong victory was in November. I feel like the one that they had in 2021 was sometime in either late October, early November. And then I feel like that 50-48 game was, I think both teams were like around 5-2-ish or something to that effect. So I feel like that would have been sometime in October. I don't know if they've ever played it in the heat. Just some kind of a thought process that went in there. And we'll just factor that in. Let that be an X factor. Just take a mental note in that. I think Aaron's looking it up for me as well. But nonetheless, we've done a lot of conversation and a lot of talk about like matchups, right? And yesterday, I spent a lot of time on talking about Quinn Ewers and the Jalen Daniels things, and I talked about those matchups and how important that's going to be for the success of both teams. Quinn Ewers, the success that we've seen him have against Alabama, we've seen him have that same success against Baylor, and I've said, I've been on the record, if we see that Quinn Ewers for the rest of the year, Texas doesn't lose a game this season, right? We talked about the defense, what the defense has been able to do and been able to accomplish this season and how strong this defense has been. And again, if they continue to show up the way that they've showed up, right, that how successful that this team will be. And I've also talked about what this means for Kansas as far as Jalen Daniels, right? For them to, first of all, start 5-0, what Jalen Daniels means to the program. Obviously, I had someone who covers Kansas on the show yesterday, right? So we kind of broke all that stuff down. And Aaron actually has the dates for the OU game. So, I mean, Texas, Kansas game. So you got it. That's something you can put on the screen, Aaron? Yeah, go ahead and put that on the screen. This will be kind of curious here. Because let me look at what the weather is going to look like this weekend. Oh, are you doing it now? Are you saying, is that something you're working on right now? Or you have it ready to go? What's going on? It's on the screen right now? It's not on my screen. I don't know I don't see it. It's not on my screen. All right, we'll hit a reset in a second. But let me get on. Hold on. Well, let me get on YouTube and see what the hell is on your screen, because it's not on my screen. So we know We're having some funky stuff. Just keep it up there for a second because I gotta click on YouTube to watch what the hell's going on here. Okay, here we go. So
Google Ads helps you turn curiosity into customers.
This is like some bootleg show we got going on today. This is like some bootleg flea market kind of show that we got going on, some swap meet kind of show that we got going on when nobody got anything working right now. I got to hit the reset. Hold on one second. Let me see what's going on. Let me look. All right. Okay. So Aaron's got this thing on the screen right now. And we've got, the games of November, October, November. They had one September 27th. Back in 2014. And I felt like my intuition was correct on this one. They've had one time that Kansas is in that the 2014 game. Was that in Kansas, Aaron, or was that at UT? Because I probably can do the every other. So that was at Kansas. So Kansas has never ever played against UT here in September in the heat. I think that's a kind of a look. You guys live in Texas. You understand what this thing is like, right? So, I think that's a really relevant thing that, no one's talking about and we have not gotten into. And let me just see what the weather report is going to look like, for Saturday. High of 94. So, it should be that should be nice and crispy. Feeling on the field got to be a feeling about 100. So we'll see how the Kansas players kind of react to that heat that maybe Texas players will not endure. So let me do this. I want to kind of, Aaron, let's go to a break. Give me the longer one. Let me hit a reset, and then let's see if we can get this thing going because I want to keep that positivity. And right now, Unc is not being positive. So let's hit a reset. Let's come back and see. You just got to stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because you need to see how this ends. Because it's either going to end real positively or you're going to see another side of Unc. And you're going to see like that. That's when that's that losing my religion kind of thing. And we don't want that. So let's hit a quick reset. We'll be right back.
All right. It's grilling time, and I'm going to give you guys a gift that you weren't expecting. And that's how to cook the best beef kebabs that you've ever had. And your family will love them, your kids will love them, your wife will love them. All right, here's what you got to do. You go to H-E-B or Kroger or whatever it is. If you're a deer hunter, you can use backstrap for this, but I'm not sure I would do it because I don't want to use backstrap for this because I want volume, okay? I want to get like 2 pounds of meat. And the meat that I want to get is either the chuck round that comes off the very top that's connected to the sirloin or just sirloin. Just get like 2 pounds of like sirloin. That's like the best sirloin that they have there. It's going to cost you like $18. Get home, slice it into small little pieces, tenderize it, use some whatever seasoning that you like. I like one called Grub Rub. You can find it at H-E-B. You can find it basically anywhere else. Pat it down with that after you've tenderized it, after you've used the tenderizer to beat it down, right? Do all that stuff. Throw it in a Ziploc bag. Then here's what you got to do, man. This is the big secret. And if you have kids, you'll realize this. Take some Sunny Delight or just some orange juice, something like that, and put that in there. And then just put in some Worcestershire sauce and then put in some soy sauce and leave it overnight for one night. Once that gets done, you can put it on little skewers. The big deal is you have to cut them a little bit thin to where you can pull it across the skewer, right? Pull it across the skewer to make sure that it's like it grills and it's kind of like an easy bite off of that skewer, not a big thick piece of steak. I'm telling you, your kids are gonna love it. This is how it looks. And also your wife's gonna probably want you to make some zucchini and squash. And so we'll do that too.
was that? What in the hell is what the hell did I walk in on? What? What? Wait a second. Wait a second. What was that? Somebody explain to me what wait. Hold on. And I understand I might should be at the point where I'm just supporting the channel and that was a great shish kebab thing by Alex Dunlap. Appreciate it. Go check out his show at 3:30 to 5:30. Wait. I'm so confused as to what the hell just happened. That's why I tell you, Alex is just a different cat. Wait. So what was weird was it was like this Blair Witch Project kind of thing where it was like he was like right here talking to you, and then it was just like that creepy, like looking at the kebab, like it was kind of like a horror movie kind of thing. I don't know what's about to happen, and then at the end, the music comes on, and we see the flex with the pool in the yard. So I see the flex back there, and I missed the first part. Did he like season it? Did he tell everybody like what he was doing? Or did he just bust in like kebabs? Like, okay. Okay. All right. Hey man, you like it, I love it, man. To each their own. Never but positivity from there. That was interesting though. I gotta go back and watch that one though. I gotta see that again because I don't know. That's why I tell you, like I like Alex a lot. This is why I know like Alex and I could just never hang. Like a video like that lets me know that Alex and I can't be boys. Like I know eating that food probably tastes good. I'm guessing, but boy, that was odd. But that's what you know. What that's what you guys get for complaining about saying, man, we always got these catch videos, and I've seen all the single one of them, and I'm tired of all of them, and blah blah blah. We need something new. Well, this is what happens when you want something new. All right. Bet you like that Malik Jefferson one, don't you? I bet you missing the Sam Ellinger one now, don't you? That was fascinating. I'll tell you what. Don't ask me to do anything like that because mine's gonna be me having a drink. Hey, man, sitting out here on the back patio, hot as hell, pour me a drink. That's all I got. Stir. I mean, oh, wow, when Alice is on at 9:30, I really got to ask a little bit more about this because this is a fascinating, very fascinating thing. Aaron, do they have more of these? Does Alice do this during every show? Does he have one of these? Like him and Blake are different cats, man. Like, no, that looks new. Okay, maybe. All right, I'll go get into my show because that I can sit on that one for about 30 minutes. I'm sorry, y'all. Last thing I want to say is I can do nothing but be honest. I'm sorry. I don't know how to be anything other than me. My guests say certain things. It just kind of is what it is. People on the channel are gonna say certain things. It is what it is. I just know how to be one way. That's me. So even if these are people who I work with, and listen, sorry, everybody can get it. All right, listen. So we've been talking about Kansas. We're talking about golly. I want to go to another break. I'm glad we got this thing situated. I don't know what's going to happen next time we got another break. What he said? He said, hairstyle of a catch. My goodness. I mean, well, we're going to have like, I don't even know. Like sleep apnea. What are we going to do next? I mean, grilling. I'm going to do, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a video. It's going to be me ordering something from Whataburger in the car. And just play crazy music. All right, we're going to Whataburger. Let me take your order. Anyway, Texas, Kansas, right? And we've been talking a lot about like that matchup this week, right? We're going to try to get back up. And I'm back. And it's hard not to. It's really hard not to talk about Kansas without I can't even look at the chat because y'all distracted me right now. Yeah, y'all stop it. Y'all making too many jokes. I try to get back. I try to regain myself and regain my composure right now. It's been it's still there's like the reverberations. Like we have an earthquake and they still have those things that still hit you. That's where we're at right now. It's still hitting right now. Why did they view that in my show though? Anyway, so when we talk Kansas kind of brings up a lot of PTSD for people, right? And for rightfully so, right? For all the right reasons, like because and the PTSD thing is real because people kind of associate that it's just like military as a military term, but it really does happen in every walk in life. It happens in sports when he's like, "Oh, here we go again," because you've seen that thing happen again, and it's like that lack of belief because something bad had happened. Boy, I tell you one thing. Boy, be out here in these dating streets in your 40s and you'll see nothing but PTSD. Boy, let me tell you something. You better stay in your relationship. Stay in there, make that thing work out. Because you get in here, get out of these streets like where Unc is, and you do one little thing that resembles something that somebody else may have done, and even though it's not that thing, take them back in that place. Like that PTSD thing is real, right? And the PTSD thing, when we say Kansas, even though last year happened, and even though Texas was able to beat Kansas last year and pretty handedly when it's all said and done, there still is that thing as relates to this program because we understand like there's been 2 embarrassing losses within the last 10 years with the University of Texas, and both have been at the hands of Kansas, right? And it's like, damn, not them guys, not those guys again. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, it was we think about that 2016 thing that happened with Charlie, and we've talked about it before. I won't rehash it too much, but Charlie was literally 1 win away. All my sources told me, hey, if he just beats Kansas, his job is safe for the next year. We'll roll it back. We'll run it back. Like that's all. It was all needed to do. Get the team bowl eligible, beat Kansas. Whatever happens the following week versus TCU, it is what it is. But that's just beat Kansas. Like the bar was lowered, and then that thing happened. Like it just did, right? And I went into the whole thing. I won't relive what the scene was, after that game. And and by the way, that at that point they weren't quite sure what they were going to do as far as the Tom Herman situation was concerned. And then after that loss, that's when they said it's got to happen. And so they basically go and make that thing happen over the weekend. After that loss, the whole thing gets done. I think that deal gets done in Bastrop at a hotel, and it's water under the bridge. And it's all said and done, right? And then there was that loss 2 years ago that everyone's familiar with, and kind of capped off that 5-7 season. That was, it was bad, right? It was bad for all intents and purposes, but it was also bad because on the outside, it made a lot of us, me, everybody question, okay, well, what's going on here with Sark? Like you bring in a guy that gives you 5 wins in year one. But the guy he just fired was coming off a winning season, 4 straight winning seasons, 4 straight bowl victories, and this is what you fired for this. And so it's like, did you guys make the right decision on this? Did you guys make the right move on this? It was easy to question Sark back then. And again, it was a bad time. You guys know it was a bad time for the program. It was a very embarrassing time for you guys as far as being a Longhorn fan. And it's very interesting, though. Really interesting. Because Sark said something on Monday, about that game, and he put a pretty positive spin on it. Aaron, you have that quote when he starts talking about them being a resilient group. I want Aaron to put this on the screen for us. I'm going to try to do something a little bit different, which is not always read everything, but Aaron told me he can put it on the screen for me. So let's go through that quote of what he talked about when he was talking about that 2021 game. Sark says, I'd probably say that we're a resilient group. I think externally, it felt worse to some degree. And then what did I say? The PTSD for everyone outside the program. So he says externally, it felt worse to some degree. Hurts to lose. And as a competitor, it's never fun to lose. He goes, I don't care if it's ping pong I think that's been in ping pong, whatever it is. And if you are going to compete at something, you're going to try to win. Naturally, in that game, we didn't play as good as we would have liked. He goes, and they made some plays at some critical moments. Game didn't go our way, but in a weird way, this was the interesting part. He said, I'm glad that it happened because it exposed some warts in our program that needed to get removed. If we hadn't removed those warts, we might not be where we are today in our program. Good morning to you, Mitchell. Sometimes not all storms come to cause you issues in life, but some storms come to clear the path. And I felt like that storm cleared the path for us on what we needed to do in our program to move forward. And I have been thinking about that. Thank you, Aaron. I have been thinking about that quote this week. And I was trying to think to myself, okay, is this like him just putting a positive spin, trying to something make a negative into a positive? Like the whole storm thing, which is, by the way, it's a fascinating way to think. And I thought it was really awesome what he said. And I thought to myself, okay, how does it make sense, right? And it finally did. It finally clicked for me. I was able to connect the dots with it. And give me a second, because I'm going to go somewhere with this. So I've told you one of the things that I have really respected about Steve Sarkisian, and I respect a lot of things about him, but one of the things that I really, really respect is that I told you that he's never complained, right, about the talent that he's inherited. I've said this before. The only thing he's ever really said that I think has been like of a constructive, if you can look for something that's kind of a constructive criticism, the worst thing he has ever said has been, it's not really the roster the way I would have constructed it, but it's okay. And then he said they would work with it. And I would tell you that. And of course, there was always a little bit of a wonder behind the scenes that why did they have more scholarship receivers than they have offensive linemen when they got here? There was a little bit like, it don't really make much sense, right? But at the end of the day, he never complained about it. And he never said like anything negative. And I thought that was really, you know me, you guys know me. Like I'm trying to be about my positivity in life. I'm trying to get relaxed. I try to get positive. I'm not because I'm trying to get old and trying to get into heaven, because that's what the old folks usually do. They start getting nicer as they get older because they try to get into heaven. It's not none of that. It's more so just, I'm really trying to be about positive vibes. And if you don't have positive vibes, you have negative energy, I just don't want you a part of my life. I can't do that, anymore. And so it was interesting because when Charlie Strong got here, I go back to it because I'm going back to the people that I've covered, not only here, but even in the NFL. Like in the NFL, people take over and it usually kind of crap on the coach that had the program before them. It happens all the time, right? And so, when Charlie gets here, what happens, right? He's dismissing players off the team, kicking them off the team. These guys are soft. He's going into Florida, like all those kind of things. Like we remember what Coach Strong would do because he felt like the Mac Brown guys are soft and these are Texas guys. And I didn't go to Florida to get the Florida guys, but the Florida guys are tougher than these Texas guys who are kind of wimpy and they're pampered. There's a country club over here. We got to make this thing tougher and stronger and all that kind of stuff, right? And that's what happened there. And then Tom Herman gets in and it's like, ironically, right? It's Tom Herman's like, these Charlie Strong guys, they're soft and they're wimps and all these other kind of things, right, that happen. And so, it's sit the F up in meetings, it's drill sergeant stuff, like it's all these kind of things. And it was effective because to a certain degree that they did win. And he did bring the program out from where it was. It was in a dark place. And Tom Herman did a really good job of making it into a good program. He was hired to be great. So ultimately they get rid of him because you're never hired to be good at Texas. You're hired to be great. Like that's the standard. But overall, he wasn't a bad coach, right? But I remember as I started thinking back on everything, and I remember, and you guys made me remember. You remember there was the loss again that Texas had against Maryland, right? And one of the things that Tom Herman said was something to the effect that you can't sprinkle pixie dust on this thing. You guys remember that? Can't sprinkle pixie dust on this thing and expect a turnaround and immediate turnaround. And then remember, Urban Meyer ripped Herman for that. And he goes, and Urban Meyer, and there's some beef between those guys. I mean, something happened. Clearly, something happened between those guys that had them have that kind of falling out, right? But Urban Meyer says, "I like a new It's like a new generation of excuse." What Urban Meyer said at the time, and then Urban Meyer went on to say, everybody wanted me to say Jim Tressel left the cupboard bare at Ohio State. He goes, if I heard any assistant coach say something similar, they would be gone. You're done. Those are your players. I hear guys say, wait until they get their own players in there. He goes, they're our players. What do you mean they're players? The minute you sign a contract, they're your players. You didn't choose me. I chose you. You're mine. Absolutely. And Urban Meyer has got a lot of things going on, right? But that stuck with me. There's certain things I put in the mental Rolodex, and that's one of the things I put in there when it's like, hey, and it's so true, right? We always, and how many times you heard, like, you got to bring in their players. They got to bring in players. You got to bring in their players, right? But when it's all said and done, nah, man, what you got to do, what you have to do is embrace the guys that you have. And so when I look at that, and Urban Meyer being a legendary coach, forget all of the side antics, right? And it's just look at him as a coach, right? From a philosophy standpoint, it's so true. It's so correct what Urban Meyer thought about and said. And the criticism that he had, I think, is absolutely fair. But it brings me back to Sarkeesian. And I started going back into Sark. And I started thinking about, well, what did he say when he got here? Right? What was he saying about this team? And I told you there was no criticism. And I'm telling you guys, we're going to connect some dots here that it will totally explain why this team is having the success that they're having this season. So, Aaron, there's the other quote that I want you to pull out, and it starts with where I have a saying that I write up on my board every day. So this was a couple of years ago, a quote that Sark had, which I think is, man, I'm telling you, this is some really good stuff for you guys. I'm talking about this is some really good stuff. These dots that we're going to connect right now. He goes, I have a saying that I write up on my board everywhere, and I've probably been saying for the last 5 or 6 years. Trust equals time plus consistency. We have to develop trust, coach to player, player to coach, player to player, coach to coach. All those different relationships. We have to develop trust in our relationship, and trust takes time. It takes consistency. No, I'm not expecting immediate buy-in. If we get it, that's great. If not, we will get there. We are a relationship-based operation, and that starts with me. Look at that accountability right there. Look at that accountability right there. It starts with being authentic. It starts with really trying to develop a genuine relationship with our players, not just on the football level, but really getting to know them as people and letting the players understand and having some real life examples of something where we are for them where we are for them on every level to try to put them in the best position to be successful so they continually build their brand and build the brand of Texas. Because I just think it's about building quality relationships. And that's what we've said since day one. And that's who we are as a staff. And now we have to go and practice what we preach. Simple, right? So that's what he said. He said, so what all this stuff is going on, go back to 2021 in Kansas and the disappointment and the setbacks and all those problems, what's going on? And his message at that point is, listen, man, we just got to build up trust. And if we can build up trust, eventually it's going to happen. Hey, may not have that immediate buy-in, but listen, man, we get those genuine relationships, then it'll happen. It starts with me, and then we'll take it forward and we'll take it to a next level. That's where he was at. And it explains so much. It explains so much of where you guys are at. You can take that off there, Aaron. Thank you so much, right? And one of the players we're talking about this week, after Kansas happens, Roshan Johnson kind of gets them all together, right? And it's like, hey, listen, we've got to get together. We've got to buy in. Like this can't be what we're going to be, right? And so again, now when we start talking about the positivity, right? Let's put them all together, right? Just the positivity that he has now, like all those bad things had to happen for a reason. But now all of a sudden this thing happens. And he says it ends up being a blessing. Why? Because now after Kansas happens, all of a sudden there's the thing like, man, these relationships got to get stronger. We've got to intertwine a little bit better. We got to believe in each other, player to player, coach to coach. All those kind of, relationships have to intertwine in order to be successful. And so as the process goes along, right, of the building and the building of the trust, right, and getting those things together, there were guys who did buy in, and we're going to get to that in a second, right? But there was also people who didn't. And there were people who were going to end up being lost along the way. And some people didn't buy in. It's other people just decided that this wasn't for me because maybe I lack of playing time or whatever the case may be. And here's what's really interesting. There's a lot of things that's interesting, but this really stands out to me. Everyone's going to have attrition. And guys are going to leave your program. It just is what it is in the transfer portal. You can't avoid that, right? It is, right? And what's fascinating, though, I kind of went through the list. And I'm going to give you the highlights. But I'm going to let's talk about the people who left, okay? And we're not talking about them in a negative way. I don't want, people's mamas that DM me today, or like I heard you was talking about my son and da-da-da. Just make sure if you're gonna screenshot it or send it to them, and make sure you tell the whole story. We're just talking about people who left. And did it end up being a huge loss when it's all said and done, okay? Brendan Thompson goes to Oklahoma. The jury's still out for him as far as what that'll look like. Jaden Alexis goes to USF. Ishmael Ibrahim leaves the program. I don't know where he's at. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if he's at a program or not at this moment. Ajay Hall has to leave the program after all that craziness. And I feel bad for him. I really do. And I hope it works out for him somewhere. But to my knowledge, Ajay is not at anywhere. To my knowledge, Ajay Hall is not even playing college football, if we're being quite honest with you, unless he has landed somewhere that just landed off my radar. But Junior Angela, he goes to Oregon. Maybe that's a little bit of a loss. Maybe. Troy Amiri goes to Arizona State. I know he had a touchdown in that first game. Not quite sure what he's been doing since then. I know Arizona State's really not a good football team at this moment. Prince Dorber goes there as well. Okay. Andre Carrick goes to Tennessee. Hudson Card goes to Purdue. Casey Thompson goes to Nebraska and FAU. I shoulder shrug to each one at this moment. Just shoulder shrug. I mean, feel bad for Casey as far as his injuries are concerned. Hudson Card, we'll see if he ever lives up to the hype that people thought and all the praise, and Hudson's going to be all the, earth, moon, and stars. We'll see if that ends up happening and being a thing. Marcus Washington goes to Nebraska. I saw bits and pieces of him last year. Don't know what he's doing this season. BJ Foster goes to Sam Houston State. Joshua Moore goes into the portal after the big blow up that he has with Sarkisian. And I don't know if he's playing football, to be quite honest with you. He might be playing football somewhere. I don't know. And so, but nonetheless, these are people who started on that journey and decided like this thing wasn't going to be for them for whatever the reasons were. Whether it's personal, whatever the reasons were, they decided this ain't me. And it's fine. When those things happen, you wish people well. Good luck to you in life, and you hope that things will be successful for them. But then let's look at this year. When we start looking at this year's team, and let's look at the people who have stayed, right? And these are the people that Steve Sarkisian inherited, right? That Steve Sarkisian never complained about. So these are the people that some of them will talk about who are left for dead, and some of them were just guys. Let's go through the list. Let's go through the defense, right? And let's look at the guys that he inherited that they didn't complain about, but actually said, let's invest in them and actually make them into better players. Let's actually be the best coaches that we can be and make them into better players. So look on the defensive side of the ball. Because what's fascinating about this, guys, is that the majority of guys on the defensive side of the ball, and by the way, start getting your buy or sell questions in the chat as well, please. Go ahead and get that because we're going to do that at the top of the hour. So buy or sell is coming up next. So go ahead and get those questions in so we can, I'll start knocking that out. I'm going to knock out as many as possible. Good morning to you, agency. Look at here though. We got Baron Sorrell, who again, carryover guy and get out of the Louisiana area. And he ends up being a person who emerges into a standout player here at Texas. Again, some of this might be because of age. We don't know what would have happened with the previous staff, but we know that they've been able to help and direct and guide Baron Sorrell to be a starter and an impact player on this defense. We're still waiting. Alfred Collins is sometimes, a little bit of a hit or miss at this moment, but we also know Vernon Broughton is a person who's been coming on lately. We've seen Vernon Broughton this season. Again, he was another guy from a carryover. And look what they were able to do. Byron Murphy, look at him, another guy. They talked about kind of late in the process. Ends up being a person that we look at this year. Again, a Herman guy that is a Sarkisian guy. And we see the success that he's having as well. Ethan Burke is obviously a Sark guy. Jet Bush, though. Jet Bush ends up being a captain last week. He ends up being a captain. Like Jet Bush, of all people, man. Thank you, Xavier. Let me know that Joshua Moore did go to SMU. I don't know if he's stuck there as well. And good morning to you, Richard, from the Rogue Shop, right? Jalen Ford. Look at him. I mean, if there ever is an example of, hey, just trust the process and believe the process, Jalen Ford, another person who was just a guy who ends up being a person that you look at and you say to yourself, all right, that guy is going to become an NFL draft pick at some point. So you got Jalen Ford. Another one, David Benda. Listen, I've done shows with people, not to name anyone's name, but it rhymes with fetch. Does not name anyone's name. That said, if David Bender is going to be out there in the field, Texas is in the whole world of hurt. It's not going to be good for Texas. And look at what David Bender has emerged into, and we look at the standout player that he's emerged into. Again, a guy that they end up inheriting, going down to the boundary safety. Jaron Thompson, another guy who's a guy, and then just all of a sudden ends up being a standout player. And I'm trying to go through some of the other guys there. And of course, Jahdae Barron. I mean, again, he's another one that we talked about with Jason Sukumel in our recruiting process that they were able to get over here. I mean, again, this is, I mean, how impressive is this? How impressive is this? And then we go on the offensive side. Brooks ends up being a guy that was recruited by Stan Drayton. Jordan Whittington ends up being a person that they're getting the most out of. The biggest thing that they've been able to do with Jordan is actually keep him healthy. That's been the biggest thing with Jordan. And I will tell you guys, the issue that Jordan Whittington had is that he did a lot of heavy lifting when he was younger, and that helped him get to a certain point. But if you do too much heavy lifting at a young age, it strains the muscle. Your bones and everything are still developing, and so when you do too much, it hurts. In different other parts of the body, and they were able to work with Jordan as far as this lifting is concerned, and how to do it smarter. And then all of a sudden, Jordan Whittington has actually been a healthy contributor for them. Obviously, Jatavian Sanders is a guy that Sark inherits. But then you go down the list of Jake Majors, a Hayden Connor, right? I mean, a Christian Jones, who they're able to get something out of Christian Jones, who, my goodness, I'll be honest. I think I said it before, when Christian Jones decided that he was going to come back for his 6th year, I thought to myself, man, that's a waste of a diploma, man. You should go out there and go into the workforce. And Christian Jones goes out, and he looks like a guy that now is going to become an NFL player. And even before that, developed a Tope Amade. Like Tope Amade towards the end becomes a standout player. So this is what happened. Like this. So this is what impresses me about the secret sauce as relates to Sarkeesian. It was not about let me just bring in my guys. Like that's the easy way. That the easy way what everyone wants to do. Like, well, I need 3 and 4 years to develop my guys, and I don't need these other guys. And this roster sucks. No, good coaches take a roster and know how to improve them. Good coaches know how to get the most out of David Bender. Good coaches know how to get the most to get out of a Jet Bush. Good coaches know how to get the most out of a Christian Jones. Like that's what good coaches do. That's what good staffs do. So when you start thinking about where this team is from this whole 4-0 perspective with the opportunity and the possibility to do some other big and great things down the line, it starts with when you start thinking about the Storm in 2021, Sarkeesian's reaction to that, getting guys to buy in and then getting them to improve and maximize and become their best self. That looks like the success that you're seeing and the reason for the success you're seeing in 2023. So, Tojo, connect the dots for you. Just gotta give me a second. Tojo, connect the dots for you. And so, yeah, when Sark starts talking about these storms and how sometimes it's not there to take you over, but sometimes it's the things that can help you to get through. What he was able to do from a development standpoint is the main reason why this team is where it is. Okay, let's do this. Get your buy or sell in. We're going to do a quick little break. And then when we come back, buy or sell. God help us. I don't even know what's going to be in this break. I don't even know what ad is going to be in this break. I kind of want to see the Alex ad from start to finish because I was offline. I kind of want to see it, but then I'm a little scared to see it again. So whatever Aaron chooses will be what we go to break. Lord help us, but I will be right back.
This Orange Bloods recruiting flashback focuses on one of the best wide receivers to ever play on the 40 acres, former Odessa Permian star Roy Williams. One of the all-time greats out of West Texas, Williams was one of the last great players to come out of Permian and the Little Southwest Conference, a school and district in West Texas that helped inspire the movie and TV show Friday Night Lights. Williams' prowess as a receiver, defensive back, and track star made him perhaps the single best talent to ever come out of that part of the state. Overall, Williams finished the year as a 5-star prospect in the Rivals 2000 rankings, but actually ranked behind fellow Texas wide receiver signee B.J. Johnson in the rankings, which seemed pretty stupid almost as soon as he hit campus. I can't lie, I had Williams ranked behind Johnson as well, who at one time reminded scouts of former Florida State wide receiver Peter Warrick. In addition to Williams and Johnson, fellow Texas signee Sloan Thomas was ranked as a top 5 in-state prospect, and the three of them became known as the Big Three when they arrived on the 40 acres. As far as Williams' actual recruitment, he was an early commitment for the Longhorns, who had the arrival of 5-star quarterback Chris Sims as a major selling point for all of the in-state wide receiver gems that year. For the most part, Williams was solid as a rock throughout the recruiting process to the Longhorns, although Texas A&M fans were convinced that he would be a late flip in the recruiting process to them, even if there was virtually zero evidence to suggest it would happen. But we're talking about facts and evidence. And when has that ever mattered to the Aggies? At the end of the day, Williams signed with the Longhorns and became one of the best players in the history of the school at his position.
All right. Woo. We dodged a bullet with that one, y'all. I don't even know. I was a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little nervous. I don't know what's going on over here, but I don't know what's going on Orange Buzz. I need to be in on more meetings, apparently. Apparently, I need to be in on a few more meetings. I don't know what's going on. But Alex Dunlap will be here at 9:30. Alex Dunlap will be here at 9:30. And then, of course, later on in the show, Colin Wilson from the Action Network will be in here. So get your bottles ready because we have to see what happens with that one. And by the way, this actually won't be the first time I'm actually on OB today. I'm booked. I'm going to be on with with Chad Hastings today. I think somewhere around the 1 o'clock hour. Going to be a guest on their show for House Divided. So I'll be doing that one, and then I think at 4 o'clock I'll be on Alex's show today. So you will see me a lot today. Apparently I'm going nowhere. So get ready for all day. Apparently on every show, just about, except for the OB Outsiders. That'll be tonight. They got their own party, and I'm not invited. So let them do their thing. And let's do some buy or sell. Get those questions in. I'll be honest with you guys, man. Had so much going on this week. I haven't really been able to dive deep into some of the buy or sells like I really enjoy doing. So, and I really enjoy this portion of it. So let's do some buy or sells and get these questions in here. I want to do this for maybe like the next 30 minutes if possible. So let's do this. Buy or sell from Darian BT. Good morning to you, Darian. How you doing, man? Buy or sell. Texas offense holds Kansas defense to 21 points or less. You know, Darian, I'm buying on that right now. I'll be honest with you. I'm buying on that right now because I'm looking at Kansas, and I'm putting them in that 17-point range. That's kind of where I'm thinking. I'm at that 17 point because right now my tentative score is maybe like Texas, like a 31-17 ish kind of game. That's where my head is at. But may or may not be wrong, right? You know, but I can see that. Like I can absolutely see that. At the end of the day, I think Texas has got. First of all, I think they've got a defensive line that will get to the quarterback. I don't think Kansas has played a defensive line that is quite as good as what these guys can offer, what these guys can bring. I think they'll be able to get that pressure on them. You know, of course, I think Jalen Daniels is extremely talented, and he'll be able to. He's going to make some plays. Like you gotta understand, like he's going to make plays. It just is what it is. He's a baller, so that's going to happen. But can he make a ton of them? Every single down after down, I'm not quite sure about that. You know, I think that's where that's going to be a little bit problematic for him. So I'm looking right now at the 31-17-ish range. But I'm with you, Darian. I'm buying on that. I'm just buying on this defense right now. I'm just buying all chips in on the defense. So good question, Darian. I hope you are having a fantastic day today. Enjoy your Wednesday. Go do something nice for yourself, man. Do something nice. Even if you spend $20 on yourself, Darian, do something nice for yourself, and you deserve it. Soto 806. What's going on, my man? Ain't been first though, Soto. I can tell you that much. Where's Rodolfo? Where's Rodolfo at? Someone go look for him. Jonathan Brooks rushes for at least 100 yards against Kansas. I'll buy on that one. I'm buying my Jonathan Brooks stock, man. I'm buying Jonathan Brooks stock. Steve Sarkisian can say he needs to get CJ Baxter back healthy. Maybe that takes another couple of weeks. Brooks is the guy for me. All I know is he produces. That's all I know. I don't know anything else other than that Jonathan Brooks is producing, and that Jonathan Brooks does what he needs to do. So I will buy on Jonathan Brooks getting over 100. I'm not going to. There was a prize picks on him last week, and I want to say it was like 86 or something like that, something too close to that. And I didn't think he would be able to go over it. Never again. Never again. I will buy on Jonathan Brooks until he proves me otherwise. So buy 100% on Brooks having a really good day. I like it so far. If I go 31-17, Brooks got to have a good day. So that's really good. Allen. So good. You're always one of the first in, Allen. I 100% appreciate you. Where's Buck Wild? Has Buck Wild been around today? I don't think I've seen him. Buy or sell. Texas looks better at home this week. I'll buy on that. Here's the thing. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Whether it was because it was Rice or Wyoming or whatever the case may be, this team will be all chips in. And I think the coaching staff will be on their A game as relates to this team that they're playing against Kansas. I think they know. They know that this ain't the Kansas that we all grew up with. Like this is not that Kansas. This is a better Kansas team. last year, it counts for last year. This is a Kansas team that will come into DKR confident, knowing they can hang, knowing and believing in their hearts that they can actually beat this team. So, yeah, I would absolutely 100% buy that this team looks better. I'm not going to count them out as far as, will there be shaky performances? Sure, that will happen every once in a while. But I'm just not convinced that Kansas has got enough juice and enough fight and enough staying power, enough 4 quarters in them in order to hang with Texas. So buy on that one, Alan. Good question, though. Very good question. Sleepy Sounds. Is that a business? A business called Sleepy Sounds? Sleepy Sounds. What does that mean? I'm fascinated by this name, Sleepy Sounds. Let me see. What is that? What is that? Like a moon or something? Interesting. All right, buy or sell. Good morning to you, Sleepy Sounds. Buy or sell. I'm fascinated by what this thing is. Like, I want to know if this is a business that sells like stuff to help you like sleep at night, or what is it? Or is it like sound machine music or something? Like that's what you do. Like it's like Sleepy Sounds, like Crazy Eddie or something. Like, all right, buy or sell. Casey Thompson had a better hold on the Texas offense than Quinn currently does now. In 2021, Texas puts up 51 points on Rice, 70 points on Tech. Your question is, had a better hold on the offense. Well, I think I'd sell on that one to a certain degree. It's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. Sleepy Sounds. But I get what you're talking about from a point perspective. Rice, Tech, those things happen. But I'm not quite sure on that one, because I don't know if Casey Thompson can beat Alabama. If we're just being real, I don't know. I don't know if he's got that in him. So I get what you're saying, beating up on some of the bad teams. But would you say to yourself you thought Casey can go into Tuscaloosa and do what Quinn did, or would there be kind of a turnover that would be in him? Yeah, I don't know if Casey Thompson could be a guy that could have Quinn's current streak of the lack of interceptions. So that's the reason why I would sell. So I think there's Sleepy. I think there's like certain things that you would say that Casey was good at, but there's other things I can look at and say Quinn's been better at. Maybe not from a statistical standpoint at this moment in like every single category, but in a lot of important. So I'll sell on that. And I think the other thing that I would sell, and I think it's important to know, is that, right, whatever reasons, Casey and Sark, it was like, they were never boys. And I think Quinn and Sark get along really well. And I think that helps in that process. So good question, though, Sleepy. It was a really good question. Thank you. That was a challenging one. That made me think. You made me think out loud. That's a really good question, Sleepy. You should ask more of them, and explain to me what you do in your business, by the way. Ben Ivy the 5th. Wow. There's been 5 of y'all. That's crazy. It's funny. I think one of my kids' moms asked me if I wanted to name them after myself, and I was like, nah, But Ben Ivy the 5th. If you're Ben Ivy the 5th, well, is this something you got to continue, or is it just like some screen name and I'm just making too much of it? But buy or sell. Bama will win the West at 11-1. Well, let me look at their schedule, because I might buy on that one. Let me pull up the Alabama football schedule. I want to make sure I give you, because I still think there's probably another loss in them. Let me see if I feel like Bama can run the table. They did beat Ole Miss, which is definitely impressive. Mississippi State, they beat A&M. They'll beat Arkansas. They'll probably beat Tennessee. LSU will be an interesting one. I think okay, so it's LSU, Kentucky, Chattanooga, and Auburn. I think the tricky ones are LSU and then at Kentucky. Those are the ones that are tricky ones. But so I'm going to sell on that one. But Ben, I'm telling you that, but not by much. But not by much. I would definitely think LSU's got a good shot of beating them. I wouldn't put anything past Kentucky as well. So I think they maybe are a 10-2 team this season. So I'll sell on that one. So, but good question, man. Good question. And it still ends up being a quality win for Texas. Tom G's in the house. Tom G is in the house. Buy or sell. Texas covers the spread this week and leaves no doubt that they are making the CFP. 17. What did I say? I said I'm looking at 31, 17. I think this is the number I'm looking at. So that puts me at 14. But then I have to. I'll sell if the spread is 17. Then I'll sell because I'm saying 14, Tom. So I'm looking at 31-17. That being said, there's still the possibility of leaving no doubt about making CFP. Like that's still something that's out there and still has a possibility. So I would say yes. I would say I would sell on covering the spread. But I'll be honest with you. If you tell me when it's all said and done, Tom G, if somehow this ends up being a blowout, I wouldn't be surprised. I won't take that off the table. The only thing I'm taking off the table is a Texas loss. That's the only thing I'm taking off the table for you guys is a Texas loss. But how they win, I mean, I can see it being a little bit of a fourth quarter game. I can see a blowout, but but just because his defense is so damn good. So you might be right, Tom. You might be more right than myself. But I would say this: beat the next two. If you beat the next two teams, get past the next two teams, then for me, there's no doubt they're making the CFP. Because even with one loss in the second half of the season, they still got a really good chance of making it. So I will, so I'll sell on it, but give me 2 more weeks on that one. Give me 1 more week, get past Texas OU, and then we'll go from there. And maybe we'll see, because it's been almost 365 days since Texas OU scored a point against Texas. So just kind of make you feel good. Stoops and Fives will be like, man. Buddy B, what's good? Good to talk to you. Money B, are y'all take? Oh, okay. All right, I had to look at. You asked me if I would take a 2:30 game over an 11:30 kickoff. Is what that? Nah, sell. I like the 11 o'clock games, man. I just to get it over with. To be quite honest with you. So here's the thing. It's a me perspective. Like a 2:30 game means that this game gets over somewhere around 5:30-ish or so, heading into the 6 o'clock hour, probably 6 o'clock-ish, so something to that effect, right? And then by the time Sark speaks to the media, we're talking maybe 6:45-ish or so. So by the time I get, let's say so then the post-game show going on, then we do the post-game. I'm on from 7 until about 8-ish or so, maybe 8:30, depending on what we do. And then, then I still got to go home. I got to eat, and then I still got to type up for the next day. It's just a lot. So, to be honest with you, 11 o'clock is always better for me. I'll take an 11 o'clock kickoff. Like, I'm looking forward to the OU thing because then the problem is if I didn't have to work the next morning because my column is due the next morning, if I didn't have that portion of it, I'll be fine. But because I have that portion of it, that's what makes it a little bit tougher for me. So that's where give me 11 o'clock so I can just get my work day over. If not, I get to the Money Beat last thing. I get to the stadium 2 hours beforehand. So I'm there by let's say on Saturday, I'll be there at noon. I won't leave out of there until 8:30-ish or so. And then I still got to work another either 3 hours at night or wake up at 4 in the morning and start writing at that point. So it's a lot. So give me a morning game. Texas boy, what you know about the Texas boy? No, Texas boy came in with a super chat. So super chat goes to the front of the line. Sorry. Super chat gets to the front of the line. Buy or sell. It upset you when they called Colorado Black Americans team. They should leave race out of it. Oh, okay. I won't say it upset me per se, but I understand why obviously black people are excited about Colorado, but it's so there's it's a two-edged thing here, right? I understand why black people are excited about Colorado, right? It's a black head coach who's having success. He's a big name. He did really well in the HBCU, and then he's turning around a program that's there. But is it Black America's team? Like, I don't know, I don't know if it upsets me because you do have a lot of people who are black who are Colorado fans right now. Like, I know I got people who like Colorado, who root for Colorado because of Dion. And they're black and they didn't give a damn about Colorado a year or so ago. Like that's just kind of how it is. So people kind of gravitate towards things that maybe they haven't seen before. So people would say like feel like the president was like Obama was like black president, something like that. So I don't think necessarily that it upset me in that regard, Texas boy. And as far as like the title, I get it is what it is. As far as leaving race out of it, I don't know. When people have something that they want to be proud of and they haven't seen it, that would happen. But the same way, Texas boy, if that was, for instance, remember when you would see like Asian players when they like the guy who used to be with the Seattle Mariners, I forget his name. Golly, it's so horrible. But when you see Asian players, right, and they've come to thank you Ichiro, right, and you saw like how you would see like all the Asian culture and Asian people like watching his games, right? Or you see the Asian Americans go to like an Asian person goes to like the Yankees, right? And you see Asians start following that particular team, and all of a sudden they become Yankees fans or Mariner fans and things like that. It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon when a group sees something that they haven't seen. The same way if you saw like a Mexican coach that would go out and have a lot of success, he was from Mexico, you would see that kind of thing. So I don't think it upsets me. I think it's just a part of natural life of minorities. And so no, it doesn't. I don't think it upsets me at all. So I would sell on that, and hopefully the answer explains a little bit more. People see something they haven't seen. And they get really excited and really proud about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And hell, Colorado's making money. So everybody's winning at that point. And I think hopefully you can hopefully you can expect the answer. What else we got from there? Thank you for it's a good question though. It's a good question. It's a good question. We can talk about anything here, man. We're family. We are family. And I don't want us to ever feel like we can't have an intelligent conversation. I just want to say something real quick on that. I think that the thing that I don't like about our society is that we draw these definitive lines where we just can't have conversations that are deep and everyone wants to argue with each other. So let this be our zone, our haven, where we can have the conversations intellectually. Whether it be about certain things that make other people uncomfortable, we can talk about it in a comfortable way that doesn't have to be combative and all that kind of bullshit. Like we can have the real conversations like we're having about black, white, Hispanic, whatever, and have the respect that's there. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there as well. All right, next one. What's the next one? We got another super chat came in. SEC Matt is here. SEC Matt is here. Buy or sell. Texas will flip at least 3 recruits from LSU and A&M. Yeah, I could buy on that one. I don't have all the names of all the guys, but I know there's some guys who are committed to LSU that are still interested in Texas. And look, I think this Texas thing has the potential of taking off. And I know a lot of times they will tell you that like, hey, like this year's success has a lot to do with next year. But man, people like shiny things, man. People like shiny toys. And so there's nothing for a young man to say, you know what? Texas is balling right now. You know what? Let me go ahead and see what this, if you get into November, Texas is undefeated, thinking about competing for a national championship. A&M is kind of just, muddling along. Like, yeah, why not? Same thing for LSU. Like, the thing is, I'm just going to say it like this. For a lot of these players, there's some good ones out there, that you got to hold a spot for, right? There's some good ones that are out there, right? But some other folks, man, Texas is going to be that place to be from a recruiting standpoint. It's going to be that it's Sark is getting this thing to a point where it could get close to being like the Alabama, how Alabama used to have that run where hey, if you are an elite person, you just go here, like no questions asked. Like, it's getting close. And Georgia's that team now. Georgia comes knocking, you go. But unless you're Arch Manning, and then you tell them I'm good. Go here. Just saying, like, that thing is potential. So I can see that happening, SEC, Matt. I'll buy on that, especially as Texas continues to have the success that I think they're going to have. So, yeah, I'll buy 100% on that one. Blake Winfrey from your wife. Okay. All right, Blake. I hope she's doing well. Hope the family and everyone is doing well and enjoying themselves. Hope you're enjoying all the great experiences that you have recently had. I know it's a beautiful thing. Buy or sell. She wants to know Taylor Swift will be at the Chiefs Jets game this weekend. Buy. This is a thing now. This is a thing. It is a thing. Taylor Swift. First of all, Patrick Mahomes' wife is probably like, she's taking all my shine. Like, everybody, I was the first lady of the Chiefs, and now all of a sudden Taylor's coming in here. Not everybody looking at her. So no, this is her thing now. Like, this is going to be her weekly thing. She's probably not on tour at this point. A lot of, having tons of tours that happen, in October or November. Actually, I think Aerosmith is coming to concert at the Moody Center pretty soon. I want to go see that, but I don't want to pay the price for it. I need a hookup. But Taylor Swift will absolutely, she's going to be there. Yes, this is going to be a weekly thing, y'all, that we just going to have to get used to. Texas Mama, how are you doing? How everything in your world? It's always good to see you, Texas Mama. Buy or sell? Texas Mama want to know. Quinn gets a deep bomb at home final this week. Buy. I'll buy on that one. I'm going to listen. Here's the thing. Getting close. They're getting close with Xavier. Getting close. I'm talking about it's there. You can tell that bomb is just a matter of time that's going to happen. Like, it's to your bomb is a ticking one. It's going to explode on the defense soon enough. I can see it coming. Xavier. First of all, Xavier's coming close. Okay, I'm gonna give you a bold prediction. I'm gonna give you a bold prediction right now, Texas Mom. I totally off. I say, here's my bold prediction. Either Kansas or Oklahoma, Xavier Worthy is going to return a punt for a touchdown. In one of these next two games, my bold prediction is going to happen because he's coming close, and it's almost there. And I'm telling, my belief is over one of the next two games, Xavier is going to take one to the house. And I also do believe, so that's prediction number one. I also do believe the bold shot, that deep shot is going to be there. I feel like it's getting close now. Sark hasn't called a lot of those deep plays over the last couple of weeks. He hasn't really gone yard, but I think he'll do it against Kansas. And I can totally see that there. I'm calling both. Both, yes, Texas. I'm calling both. I'm calling Xavier on a bomb, and I'm calling Xavier on a punt return. I'm bold. I'm sitting on it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if I'm accurate on this one or not. I want to get at least one of the two right, but my bold prediction is I want to get both of those right. Sorry. Thank you. Let's see what happens. Seth, morning to you, Seth. Goes taking the Texas Homers glasses off. Texas can win the national championship. Buy or sell? Ooh, win a national championship. I mean, yeah, I could buy on can they win it? Yeah, I could buy on that. Yeah, All right, so I've said this. This is what I've said. I was on the show. I said it on Overreaction Monday with Catch. I was on someone's show last night. I think it was like a radio show. It was weird. I was radio, but it was through Zoom, and I had to challenge these people, and they actually had to back down when all said and was done. Nobody who's ranked ahead of Texas has played a tougher schedule, has a better win. I'll say it like this: has a better win on their resume right now than Texas. Texas should be the number one team in the country. Texas went on the road and beat Bama. Sorry, that's pretty damn good. And so if you tell me that Texas got to play a neutral site game against one of these teams, the Michigans of the world or Georgia of the world, do I give them a shot? Yes, absolutely. Talent for talent, defense for defense, absolutely. I give them a shot of winning this. Can they win it? Absolutely. Now they got to get through the next 2 weeks. And I know we're looking really far ahead, right? So we're assuming that everything, there's no hiccups, there's no bumps in the road, no injuries, like all that. We're just assuming perfection goes. But Seth, if that happens, but I can see it. Like I'm telling you, and Seth, I'm telling you this as a person who over the past several years thought that would be crazy to even have this conversation. I thought anything past 10 wins for the most part was always crazy. I never went above 10. And then usually I was 8 wins, something like that. So I'm telling you, this team looks different. The thing is, and what you got to remind yourself about this team, what you guys have to remind yourself as really well-educated sports fans, is that you're so smart. Is like the same things that make you strong make you weak, because you're so smart. You can analyze all the little things of the game, but because sometimes because you can analyze every little thing, you see all the weaknesses. And so because you can see all the weaknesses, you can see all the warts, you can see all the little problems, sometimes you can tell yourself, I don't know. But no team is perfect. You're not, that's the problem. Like, you're not going to have a perfect team that just from start to finish, that you don't see that doesn't have some sort of warts. Like, you're going to have certain problems. You're going to have certain hiccups. Things are going to happen. Again, look at TCU last year. Perfect example. Their defense was not good. TCU's defense was horrible for most of the year. The first time we saw TCU's defense show up occurred against Texas, ironically. And outside of that, they were able to get to the national championship game. That was not a perfect team. We knew what their flaws were. So that's the thing. We can examine and hyper-examine stuff, and we can see the flaws that Texas has, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Texas can't overcome it and win it. So to answer your question in a very long way, yes, it's totally on the table, 100%. I can totally say it. All right, let's do a few more. Let's see where Alex is. Jude Garza. Good morning to you, Jude. Buy or sell? Will Adonai Mitchell get drafted ahead of Worthy? Sell. I'm gonna sell on that one. Xavier Worthy is for, there's two things. Xavier Worthy is first round talent because of his ability to get open. You know, that's going to be key to him. He's also showing some ability as a blocker. He also has punt return ability. So that all those things kind of work together. And listen, Alex was kind of, I think, the first to point this out. And since he's pointed this thing out, I can't unsee it. Like, Adonai's got to get better as being a blocker, because he's that just is not there. Like, there was a play that he missed. He didn't do much of a block. I forget which one it was against the Billy game. And that thing is not there for him. So because of that, no, I would totally. So he can get drafted, but definitely not ahead of Xavier. And let's do one more. Let's do one more, and then I'm going to bring in Alex. Shook ones. Buy or sell? Quinn finishes the regular season with 2 or fewer interceptions. Oh, I'll sell on that one. That's asking a lot, man. And here's the thing, Shook. I appreciate the question. It's hard to be perfect. Like, you're asking a guy to be perfect, and nobody's perfect. And you're also you're factoring in like a tip ball doesn't land into someone's hand. Like, there's too many ways for an interception to happen. and then things happen. So no, he's going to throw one at some point. And but 2 or fewer, no. I mean, he probably finishes, 4-ish or so. But these could happen. But no, I'm looking at it like a 3-4-ish kind of thing, and that'd still be a successful season. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bring in Alex, but I'm not gonna bring him in through the Speakeasy Lounge. I'm going to bring him in the thing that we saw earlier that we need some answers to. So on the other side of this intro, we'll call it, Alex Dunlap will be next. And I have a lot of questions and I hope he has answers.
All right, it's grilling time. And I'm going to give you guys a gift that you weren't expecting. And that's how to cook the best beef kebabs that you've ever had. And your family will love them. Your kids will love them. Your wife will love them. All right, here's what you got to do. You go to H-E-B or Kroger or whatever it is. If you're a deer hunter, you can use backstrap for this. But I'm not sure I would do it because I don't want to use backstrap for this because I want volume. Okay? I want to get like 2 pounds of meat, and the meat that I want to get is either the chuck round that comes off the very top that's connected to the sirloin, or just sirloin. Just get like 2 pounds of like sirloin. That's like the best sirloin that they have there. It's going to cost you like $18. Get home, slice it into small little pieces, tenderize it, use some whatever seasoning that you like. I like one called Grub Rub. You can find it at H-E-B. You can find it basically anywhere else. Pat it down with that after you've tenderized it, after you've used the tenderizer to beat it down, right? Do all that stuff. Throw it in a Ziploc bag. Then here's what you got to do, man. This is the big secret. And if you have kids, you'll realize this. Take some Sunny Delight or just some orange juice, something like that, and put that in there, and then just put in some Worcestershire sauce, and then put in some soy sauce, and leave it overnight for one night. Once that gets done, you can put it on little skewers. The big deal is you have to cut them a little bit thin to where you can pull it across the skewer, right? Pull it across the skewer to make sure that it's like it grills and it's kind of like an easy bite off of that skewer, not a big, thick piece of steak. I'm telling you, your kids are going to love it. This is how it looks. And also, your wife's going to probably want you to make some zucchini and squash. And so we'll do that too.
Alex, what did I just watch?
I don't know,
man. What is this? You got to explain this to me. What did I watch?
It's grilling with Alex. I don't know, man. Come on. We're trying to. I think people get tired. On my Anwar, like I come from my background. My background is in like actual, like how they actually have like actual still radio still in some parts of the world. Like they actually still listen to a radio and there's commercial breaks. You got to hit it. 17 and 35 and 47, and then the hard out at 58, right? So for me, when I do my show at 3:30 to 5:30, I'm just that's what I come from. And so like when I get to 57, I need to quit and I need to go to commercial and stuff. And so basically every day we had the commercials going, and but it was the vignettes, the recruiting vignettes, and there were people in the chat, since I go to them more frequently, just saying, man, we have all these like memorized, we have everything, it's like it's the same thing every day. So we started doing some other things. So yeah, man, I was grilling the other night. I'm like, man, these are delicious. My chickens are out here. We're all having fun. We're doing some grilling. Why not take a video of it That way we can just put it on during one of the breaks, and then of course hand it over to Blake, and he handles all the expert production styles.
Yeah. No, Blake does a good job. Now, someone said that they were actually surprised knowing you that you would actually let your kids have Sunny D because you're a healthy guy. Like you don't let your kids have candy, so they were
No.
surprised you didn't have like orange juice in the house. They were thrown off by that, Alex.
Well, I make him call it Sunny Delight.
But you are Mr. Like you can't. I mean, you gave your wife
They're gonna drink. They're gonna drink
this toothbrush as a gift, was it an anniversary gift?
and it was a wonderful romantic gift. It was a great gift. How romantic is it to give your significant other the gift of long-term oral health?
It's very romantic, Alice.
And let me also talk about Sunny D. All right, so for one, my kids tend to like it more than orange juice, than the HEB Organics orange juice, right? Sadly, but they drink more of it. I'm telling you, it's better to drink than Gatorade.
Yeah, is it? I mean, from a healthy standpoint.
Yeah, well, I mean, Gatorade's just terrible. Gatorade's just really, really bad with some of the chemicals that they put in there. I'm sure the chemicals in Sunny D are pretty bad. I mean, it's all this. It's kids. This stuff goes in and comes out. They flush it out of their body.
You don't let them eat candy. We got Halloween coming up.
Hey, because that sets a pattern. That's more of a behavioral thing.
Happiness?
No, it sets a pattern. It sets a pattern that's gonna lead them down a path straight to diabetes, man. My kids are not going to be the kinds of kids that grow up just thinking they can eat a candy bar every day and stuff. Like candy, I mean, they need to know that candy is something that, I mean, it's a very, very rare treat. You shouldn't be eating candy, really. People shouldn't eat candy. They shouldn't. It should be a very rare occasion where you just eat a piece of candy. Right?
Do you drink energy drinks?
No, of course not.
Okay, I'm just trying to see where we're at here.
I drink every day. I drink a big thing of unsweet iced tea. They got a good peach unsweet iced tea by my house. I'm trying to get my kids into unsweet iced tea. They're not too into it just yet.
Okay. How the chickens doing? Have we had anybody come and get the eggs recently, Alex?
Yeah, well, like neighbors. Yeah, I mean, I got like 60 eggs.
Or animals, snakes. You had a snake problem before, right? We had a snake problem with the egg. So you guys know the Alex has like a chicken coop, and he gets fresh eggs. Was every day you guys do fresh eggs? I don't know how chickens. I don't know how often they make eggs.
Yeah, well, basically, man, the deal is, so anytime you have a chicken coop, I have 12, so I have one rooster and 11 hens, and anytime you have a coop like that's producing that, and they're all egg laying at this age, right? So anytime you have a coop that's producing like that, you're getting between probably 8 eggs a day, something like that. Like not there's some that lay an egg every day. Most kind of don't. It's usually 7 or 8 a day. And when they're that many eggs just laying in a coop, and you pick them up at the end of the day, like a snake will find them. And generally, if they don't become super, super, super problem snakes, you'll let a snake get in there and pick off maybe an egg a day, something like that. As long as they don't decide they want to take up residence inside the coop, freak out the chickens, like live behind the coop, or start just eating way, way, way too many eggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you can also do is like what I do. I put in the fake eggs out there, like I told you about, and this way, if they eat a fake egg, sometimes if they eat too many of them, they'll eventually get a fake one, and it usually really kind of messes them up. It generally sort of kills them. But this one, he was a smart one. This snake, it was just I had to dispatch another rat snake just the other day. I generally don't like to do it because it's a harmless snake. It's not gonna and also around chicken coops, there's chicken feed out there. There's all this stuff. I mean, they eat any of the rats or the field mice that come up around there by it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to keep that kind of equilibrium and that sort of harmony. You don't want to just kill. You don't want to kill harmless snakes. That's bad. But if they become a problem snake and they want to stay curled up inside the coop and scare off the chickens and eat all the eggs and all this stuff, that's become a problem snake, man, and it's going to have to die. So I did have to reach in there and grab that snake and dispatch it. That was when I should have taken a video of that to put up on the commercial.
Oh yeah,
that would have been great. Next time I do, I'm seriously, I'm gonna have my wife go down there and take a video next time. Not of me killing it. I won't take a video of me actually shooting its head, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Because
What do you shoot? What do you kill a snake with, Alice? What do you shoot it with? What's your weapon of choice?
It just depends on the size. If it's a smaller one, I'll just take a shovel and get the head off. Some of these, if you feel bad with the shovel, you just take a little shotgun down there, man. It's a quick little blast. It's fine.
And then what do you do with the rest of it, like the rest of the body? Do you just like toss it somewhere?
There's a little flat area. Like I live on a hill. There's a little flat area though down by where my gardens are and stuff. I'll toss it down there. Like the vultures will see it in 15 seconds. There are too many damn vultures out here. So
everything you do is fascinating to me. Because we are so opposite on the on spectrums and stuff like that. So I've got a pantry.
You don't want to reach into that chicken coop and just grab that snake by the tail?
Nah, I'm good. my idea of going in the woods is having a really nice cabin with some AC in there where I can pull up my car and just chill out and then go back inside and watch.
Man. Somebody's saying that a 22 would do the job. I need to buy a 22. I don't have one, so it's like the shotgun's easy. A BB gun won't do it. Trust me, I've tried.
Have you ever skinned a deer with an air compressor?
No. How do you do that? I've never heard of. How would you do that?
I don't know.
I guess it might make it easier to pull. It could make it easier to pull down once you get, just if you're trying to cape it, I guess.
Do you hunt anything with a bow and arrow?
No, I don't.
Have you ever aspired to that?
Yeah, I mean, we had this talk yesterday on my show with Blake. I was kind of going. I can't believe Cocker made me show. We were going over the latest newsletter from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Division that came in my email yesterday. It had 3 topics I kind of wanted to hit on. One was that we do on the 20th. What was the 20? Or on the 30th is archery season opens for deer, and so. But it said on there it's for crossbows are included in archery season. I was asking Blake, Blake does a little more archery than I've always just been a rifle hunter or, shotgun hunter for turkeys or birds and stuff. And I was asking him, I'm like, what do you think about allowing crossbows in archery season? I said, I wouldn't want anybody to come in and tell me I couldn't use a crossbow, right? Because that just doesn't feel right for people to come in and to tell you what you can and can't use to, partake in your method of hunting. But I would just wonder, like, if like archers who are like real archers with these compound bows that got to get within, I think they got to get within like 40 yards of the animal. They got to stalk in and they got to get the shot just right. It's a much harder type of hunting than hunting with a rifle. Clearly, you can take a shot from 300 yards away with a rifle. There's no way you can take a shot any more than like 50 yards with the bow and arrow. But with a crossbow, all of a sudden it's like, you know what a crossbow is, right? Yeah. It's like you pull it back, you cock it, you got the little bolt that comes back, and then you just look through the scope and you just kind of it's just like a rifle. You just kind of point and click. It's just so easy. Like they let like disabled veterans and little kids and stuff do it if they want to hunt during archery season. So I just kind of wonder if people think it's fair. So we had to have that discussion yesterday. Talked about chronic wasting disease in deer, CWD. That was interesting. Oh, and various hunting blind misadventures, creepy crawlies, snakes, things like that you find when you got to walk in there to start the season. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Division wanted to send a reminder about that. I said, I don't need a reminder to check those blinds the first time I get in, man. That's like there's too many damn snakes have been in those things over the years.
Alex, I find everything you do so fascinating.
Yep.
It does. It's so fascinating to me, Alex. It really is. I joke and I was like, I don't think Alex and I would ever hang out, but I find him so. I find him so fascinating, though. Like I'll say, like we would probably like 10 minutes. And you'd be like, all right, we don't really have that much in common, but
I get it bounced, dog.
I'm like,
where's the alcohol on war? Come on, man.
It takes me a few things to drink. I'm curious. All right, I'm kind of going into mind of Alex before I talk about Kansas. So I'm really fascinated from a football perspective. Your film review, I don't know if people have a real appreciation of the work that you do in the review. So when you do your breakdown and then you do your deep digs, right? And you dive into that. Can you give people an understanding of what you do, how you rewind it back and forth, how many times you think you watch a certain play and then come up with grades? Because I don't think people appreciate how much work you put into it.
Yeah, the offense is much harder than the defense. The offense is much harder. I'm in the middle of the offense. You got to start now, since I'm doing the show on here, like I do a show 3:30, 5:30 for any of your listeners that might not know that. And so it's radically changed a lot of stuff with my schedule. There's a whole other issue I'm dealing with my kids' drivers and stuff. But I want to have the offense ready now by my Wednesday show. So like by today's show. And so that means me having to, like, Wednesdays now a day that I can't go to the gym in the morning. And I also have to start on Tuesday night, like really go a lot later on Tuesday night to get the offense done. I mean, I think it takes, it used to take me usually the offense would take me about 20 hours. Now I've kind of pared it down to where I can get it done in about closer to, 13 really focused hours. If we're talking something like 70 plays, if we're talking one of these, I don't know what's going to happen the first time that Texas has one, where I'm on this schedule where Texas goes like 90. I don't know if I'll have it ready in time for the show on a Wednesday to be able to give the offensive grades. So we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it, I guess, because that's going to happen at some point. I don't think it happens with this game. Just if I think back to it, that felt more like a 60, maybe a 65 play game. But see, these are the kind of thoughts I think about when I watch the game live. Just, who thinks like that? Who thinks about how many plays have occurred? Who thinks about how many drives? Who thinks about how many, here's the other thing. You can't get all 22 tape on these games for this quick of a turnaround. So I'm always thinking in the games, or do we get an end zone angle once every, 2.5 plays with this game? Usually on Fox broadcasts, you get a more of the end zone views than you do during ABC or ESPN broadcasts, where it's more like once every 3.15 snaps, you'll get an end zone view. So there's little things like that sort of go into it. That doing this for 13 years, if you think about it and do it. But yeah, I mean, I'd say on offense, each play, I watch each play back at least. Once I'll watch it once to understand the concept, if it's a run play or if it's a pass play, to understand what the protection is. And then once you understand what the protection is, once you understand the concept, you can understand the assignment, right? And once you understand the assignment, then you can give credit or you can give blame for certain outcomes of the play for certain players. And so probably takes you, like, now it's just like I can probably watch I can do the first evaluation on the left tackle, because I do left tackle when I go left to right. I can do the evaluation on the left tackle, and as I'm doing that, when I can identify the concept. So I would say I watch each play 5 times. I mean, certainly at least 5 times, and then certain ones I have to watch back and back and back and decide, well, should he have opened his hip here a little bit? Should he been able to give help here? Did he give enough help? What did this need to be 3-hand technique? Could he have possibly even cut that guy off second level, or was there just never a chance? Stuff like that. You got to watch those back, but at least 5 times each offensive play. Each defensive play, probably, it's a lot easier on defense because I don't grade the actual. I just chart the games and I assign the points for the various, tackles, assisted tackles, quarterback hits, sacks, quarterback pressures, run stuffs, missed tackles, TFLs, batted passes, forced, fumbles, fumble recoveries, blow ups, pass breakups. I mean, there's a million different things, but it's super easy. It's like it's in a template. I can just go through and like give one to this guy, give one to this guy, give one to this guy, find out who all's on the field for the participation data, and that's always taken me like half the time of the offense. The offense takes longer because you got to grade out every single offensive lineman.
Because no one does this. Like PFF puts out some mysterious grades usually every week, but it's kind of, there's no rhyme or reason as to what it is.
And try and ask them who does this. Try and ask who does it. It's like the man behind the curtain somewhere. It's like, ta-da! Like, here's your information. Like, all right, who's it from? It's like, don't ask me. I'm just here to get. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, well, I don't know. I just know it seems like, especially in the off season, Alex, it seems like they put out grades for just about every program. So they have like at least one person that grades out the highest at their position at every single school. It seems like, and it is fun. There's like a billion categories, but like I said, yours is unique because it's Texas stuff, but it has all the other additives in there. So you've done defense so far, Alex. You said you've got that done already?
Yeah, I'm through. Let me see. I'm through like on offense. I'm through. I'm in the middle of the fourth series on offense, so I think probably halfway through the second quarter. But I got a bunch of. I got probably a little bit more than halfway. Probably about two. I'm not at halftime yet, so I'm gonna have to get that done before the show.
So what stood out from you when you did your analysis, when you did your deep dig? I know you may have mentioned it on your show already, but from the Baylor game, what stood out to you from an analysis standpoint? Like, who were some of the guys that you said really kind of balled out?
Yeah. I'll answer that. I just see, though, in the chat, this question is from Rex St. Charles. Is this a Dunlap specific formula or developed by another evaluator? I learned just for the offensive line grading and for the offensive line grading scale, I've been doing it. I started doing this whenever I was working for a site. It was Bleacher Report, and what I was doing for them was I was doing their I was on their scouting team, and I was assigned with, because that was owned at the time by like Turner Media or something like this, right? And so they would use the evaluations from the Bleacher Report scouting team to give to give round assessments, like round projections for the various positions, right? And offensive line was the stuff that I was always sort of, I didn't play offensive line. I played defensive line, but I was like, I had offensive line coaches in my life. I was always interested in offensive line play, family that played offensive line, coaches like all in my family, always going to the clinics and stuff. And so it was something I could do. And that system that I used, I was like, well, if I'm going to scout these guys and watch all of them, and we're talking 85 different offensive linemen, that sounds like hell to most people. Stacking them up and figuring out where they're each going to be drafted, or at least projecting it, was always hard. And I'm like, well, I need a system. And so the guy I got help with developing it from a guy that was a director of pro scouting at the time for the Raiders. And it was the thing that he used when he's looking at like street free agents or guys on other people's practice squads, or dudes who, guys who they might be looking to pick up out of free agency, right? That they would use to grade out their players and their targets. But he says the same system that they used on college players, and he told me what the different levels were and stuff. And so that's what I've been using, and that's why people are like, "Why is the grades always like a 75 or a 79 or a 78 and stuff?" Well, I'm like, "Well, that's what average to good kind of college players are, right?" Yeah. If you get up in these 80s, these 82s, these 83s, 85s, like I graded some guys when I was doing this scouting stuff at like up almost close to a 90. That's what your total elite first round Jake Matthews or Joel Bitonio or some of these guys were. But so I can't take credit for that one. As far as the deep dig market share stuff on the defensive side, that was always just intuitive to me, and something I figured. I just took every defensive metric that I care about and things that other people weren't looking at, like run stuffs, blow ups, important things like that, and just assigning points to each one. And it's all laid out, what it is. But if you look at it over the course of the last 13 years, the guys that are at the top of the deep dig are the ones that always get drafted, or they're all Big 12 players and stuff. So so that's more of my invention. But the offensive line grading, I can't take credit for. That was passed down to me by a salty old offensive line kind of scout guy. But the things that stood out to me in this last game on defense was Devondre Sweat. He can be a first round pick this year. If he keeps playing like he is playing, he probably will be. If not, he'll be a day 2 pick. He looks better right now than guys last year like Mozzie Smith for the Cowboys and some of these others. He's playing at an elite level, and the fact is he weighs 360 something pounds. He moves. The closest he's the best defensive tackle if he keeps playing like he is right now. He's generating production once every 5.35 snaps. That's better than Poona Ford. It's better than Hassan Ridgeway. He's 50 pounds bigger than Ridgeway. Do you remember Ridgeway had that on-off switch too, right?
Yeah.
He was on, he was off. Like Tavondre's never off. He takes on double teams. He splits double teams. He can be a one gapping player. He can be a two gapping player. He keeps his linebackers clean. He's done it all year long, and he's an immovable. I mean, he's like a Great Wall of China, dude. He's just. I mean, you can't. He's really, really good, and to be that kind of to be that big and that cumbersome to deal with, but also be so explosive, be able to just like push off, jump up in the air, use your hand-eye coordination to bat a pass down like he did in the last game. He did that like 3 times last year. So there are, I think that Jim Nagy and them, they're already so interested in having him at the Senior Bowl this season. Yeah, he's the kind of guy I've seen. I've been to, this will be my 12th Senior Bowl this year. It's or my 13th this golly, man. I feel like I'm getting old. You see these kinds of guys, they're the kind of guys that get to the Senior Bowl and just really, really, really elevate their stock. He's going to be dominant in a lot of that stuff. So, he stood out to me. Byron Murphy, of course, had a great game. There was an interesting sort of switch that I've been over, at length on my show about how Anthony Hill's role is evolving now that Mo Blackwell's back. There's a new sub package that they're running with those guys where Hill comes in for David Benda, which is sort of an interesting development. So that was one thing I kind of noticed. I thought it was one weird thing that I noticed on defense was that Jalen Catalon only played like 11 or 12 snaps. I know Chip asked about that at the press conference, and Sark kind of blew it off, and I kind of blew it off too, because they do rotate so many of these guys, especially corner, safety. They were interested in having a rotation at right guard before Cole Hudson got hurt, right? So there's some of these spots where they're like, hey, we're still kind of in eval mode, and also we're kind of keeping guys happy, right? We're playing the matchups. Like, it's not necessarily the worst deal, but it's kind of, with Catalon, it's like, yeah, well, all right, but I mean, what, 12 snaps? Are we sure? We sure he's okay? That being said, he could have just been like, look, you're playing these possessions. And I will say, to his credit, the possessions he played were like 3 and outs. So maybe it's just like these other guys were in on these 11 play possessions, whereas some of his were a lot shorter. But I'd say that those were kind of my key takeaways. Murphy, Sweat, just looking awesome. Anthony Hill is just a total G. They're using him in all kinds of ways that are much smarter than I would have thought of. And then Catalon, I just kind of wonder if maybe they're kind of taking a little bit easy on the guy, or whether that he was just a victim of circumstance in that game as far as his possessions.
The last thing I'm kind of curious, do you have a lot of your data in front of you, especially historic data, Alex?
What?
Do you have is your historic data available? Because I wanted to ask you, Jalen Ford, I'm kind of curious how he grades versus a DeMarvion Overshown, maybe a Malik.
As far as his efficiency, or as far as his total market share,
whichever categories you think would be relevant for the conversation.
Well, because if we're talking about market share, or I'll just tell you the market share and the efficiency, because a lot of times
explain market share and efficiency for those who may not know what that means.
All right. Well, so whenever I do the deep dig, I'll just read off what I look at. And all of these have their specific points associated. So tackles, assisted tackles, sacks, hits, pressures, TFLs, batted passes, fumbles caused, fumbles recovered, run stuffs, PBUs, INTs, blowups, defensive touchdowns, safeties. I also award lockdown bonuses for the DBs. That's just for the guys who just play a bunch but never get thrown at. They deserve points for that. Targets allowed, completions allowed, missed tackles, coverage burns, penalties, and blown contains. And so I'll look at all those things, and they each have points associated. And so the guy, say like a guy's got 50 tackles on the season, and he's got some pressures and some hits and everything, but he's played 880 snaps. He's going to have a high market share rating because he's just out there for all the snaps. He plays all the snaps. He has the most opportunities to play. Ovia Guofo. I mean, he had a high market share thing, but his efficiency was terrible. He was only generating production once every like 17 snaps. He was out there a lot because Texas just didn't have anything better. So saying the guy's market share could just be a measure of volume to say, like, he's just out there a bunch, and because he's out there a bunch, he's so.
Gotcha.
If you look at the market share, there could be a dude who's played like 70 snaps, right? He's not playing much at all. And so his overall volume's not very high. He's not gotten as many points as the dude who's played 800 snaps. But if you look at it, he's generating production once every like 4 snaps. And so you think maybe, all right, well, maybe we should get this guy in more, right? So it can be predictive in that kind of way. So if
like
you
last year,
what?
Like Byron Murphy last year.
Or mainly Byron Murphy the year before last, right? Okay. More so than last year. But Byron Murphy's always been super efficient. He's having his most efficient season now. His second most efficient season would have been 2021.
Okay.
All right. So right now, Jalen Ford right now is at 8.1% market share. He's generating production once every 8.45 snaps. Okay. So we're right at 8 for both of those, kind of 8.5. So you want to see him versus Jalen Ford last year, you said, or versus Overshown?
I'm curious about maybe even Overshown or Malik Jefferson. Because I'm trying to get a gauge. You said a lot of these guys, the higher they are, that's where those guys end up getting drafted. Yeah. I kind of want to get this. I'm kind of wanting to compare a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So Overshown. Was he here? I can't believe how. Okay, so Overshown was last year. Golly, man. 8.5. So we're looking at 8.57% market share versus an 8.11% market share thus far in the season for Jalen Ford. Jalen Ford last year, though, was 10.65% market share. So Jalen Ford had a better market share than Overshown last season. Jalen Ford also had 6.86 snaps per production last season. So he was looking better last season over the course of the season than he has efficiency-wise to start this season. DeMarvion Overshown over the course of the season, 8.01 snaps per production. So his snaps per production last year and his total market share were a little bit better than Jalen Ford has started. But we need to keep in mind that Jalen Ford last year was, over the course of the whole season, was better both from a volume perspective and an efficiency perspective than he has been to start this season. When was Malik Jefferson's last season at Texas? Was that 2016?
Should have been 2016. Yeah, because that was also no. They had him because that was Charlie's last year. So Malik would have had to have been maybe 17. I think he played 1 year under Herman, if I'm correct. So it would have to be 2017, I believe.
Okay,
would be his last year.
All right, yeah. So 2017. So Malik Jefferson's 787 snaps that season.
Wow.
11.9, almost a 12% market share, and 7.11 snaps per production. So better efficiency, better market share on massive snaps than either of those guys.
Wow. Okay, appreciate it.
I don't know if there's other. The other guys we're looking at linebacker since then have been like Gary Johnson. He, in 2018, 2019, who did Joseph Osai was just an elite. And Joseph Osai's last season, he was more of an edge guy, right? But he was in we're talking about a guy with almost a 13% market share and basically a 6.28 snaps per production. That's what you see when you see a guy that is gonna just go on to do big things. Overshown. I would say that Jalen Ford is this whole discussion. I wasn't expecting to have it, and I'm not sure what you wanted to get out of this, but what I've gotten out of this is that Jalen Ford probably needs to pick it up a little bit if he wants to get to where back where he was last season. His efficiency isn't where it was, and his total market share thus far hasn't been really near what it was last season.
It's I wanted to see where he compared not only against himself last year, but because the interceptions is what it's kind of like the splash plays that we kind of get to see. But I'm just kind of curious about the day-to-day, what that looked like. Hey, before you go, Alice, there's a super chat that's in here for you. So from Jay Lee, he wants to know am I wrong not to be impressed with our safeties pass coverage to this point?
are you wrong to not be double negatives? Is this so? Is he saying is they've been kind of bad?
Yeah, I think he's saying he's
Yeah.
not impressed with the safeties.
Yeah, man. No, you're not. You're not. You are not. You are not wrong.
Oh,
We're
all getting confused now.
Look, the safeties have been it's been weird, right? Jaron Thompson's had the pick six, but he hadn't been that good. These guys are missing too many tackles, man. Whenever they're basically they're playing four safeties right now. They're playing Derek Williams, they're playing Jalen Catalon, they're playing Jaron Thompson, and they're playing Keaton Crawford. All those guys except Derek Williams, who hasn't missed a tackle all season on 105 snaps. All those guys have multiple missed tackles through 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Catalon has 3 missed tackles. Two of them have had coverage burns. Since when are your safeties supposed to be the ones getting burned? Like, that's bad.
Yeah.
Your corners can get burned, and certainly we saw Ryan Watts this last week. 2 separate coverage burns. We've seen, each of these guys, Gavin Holmes, Malik Muhammad, Terrence Brooks, all these guys have had at least 1 coverage burn this year. Jahdae Barron's had a coverage burn. Michael Tapp's had a coverage burn. But you generally don't get them from your safeties. So yeah, it's like the missed tackles on the back end, the coverage burns, the fact that Jaron Thompson is allowing an 80% completion percentage when he's targeted. Keaton Crawford's allowing a 77.78% completion percentage when he's been targeted. Jalen Catalon is better than both, allowing a 50% completion percentage when he's targeted. Derek Williams, who honestly needs to play more. He looks awesome out there. He's going to be a starter next year. And if you look at my data, it's like, it's not biased. It's just the lines of the players as they are by their production this season. One of the things that goes into him just keep moving up. He's only allowing a 33.33% completion percentage when targeted. He hasn't had a coverage burn. He hasn't missed a tackle. He's had 1 PBU. He's had 1 blow up. That's more like he's gotten his hands on the football more times than Jalen Catalon, more times than Keaton Crawford. The only guy who's gotten his hands on the football more than Derek Williams as far as the safeties this year has been Jaron Thompson. Derek Williams has gotten his hands on the football more than as many times as Terrence Brooks, as many times as and Terrence Brooks is a outside corner. He's gotten his hands on the football as many times as Ryan Watts. We're talking about an outside corner versus a safety. So it's like, Derek Williams has been good. I think the other guys have been, they've been slight letdowns, and Catalan just hadn't been playing.
Alex, what you got on your show later today from 3:30 Football with Friends? What you got planned? What you got cooking?
Well, are you going to come on?
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
All right, 4 o'clock. Perfect. All right. So hey, we'll have Anwar, and then
you can ask me about my city slicker life, Alex. You can ask me about what it was like when I went to Jersey Mike's today for lunch. Or
Jersey Mike's sounds good, man. My kids have early release today, so I'm going to get a chance to go grab some lunch where I pick them up. Jersey Mike sounds like a good option.
Oh wait, is that you guys are in another ISD though, right? I got to make sure.
Yeah. Well, and dude, it isn't like that. Jersey Mike's is close by, right? I'm gonna pack up the wagon and drive 30 minutes into Bee Cave to go do this. But 30 minutes there, 30 back. I probably actually have to leave pretty soon if I'm gonna get that done.
Okay, we got super chats coming in, Alex. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
At Biostar, Alex needs a custom OB Texas size smoker.
Yeah, well, you can email me, alex@rosterwatch.com, if you'd like to send that my way. I would definitely love it. Do you know what I use? I just have a big fire pit in the backyard that I've just like. I do the open kind of hill country style smoking these days. It's a good way to go about it. More of like a direct heat kind of thing. I also have just a Weber kettle grill that you can kind of smoke a little bit on that thing too. My smoker got broken whenever I moved out here. The movers broke it and never really apologized or did anything to make me whole for that. It pissed me off.
Another super chat from Kai. He says, is Blake Gideon the most underperforming coach on the staff?
No, I'm not gonna say that about Blake, man. I'm just like, I don't want to get into it about him.
Okay. All right. So Sorry about that, Kai. He's not going to do that.
You can answer that question later, man. I'm not talking about coach, man. So it's like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think overall it's kind of one of those things. Like it's kind of you get in the weeds, but overall the defense is playing well. So I mean, it's like
Coach Gideon's greatly respected by a great number of people that you guys have no idea about. Guys from the guys that are recruiting directors for schools that you respect. People like he's got contacts. He's really respected, and I do think that the safeties have underperformed. I'm not dude, he's dealing with one guy in Catalan that's clearly not that healthy. Your most talented player is a true freshman that you're just trying to work into the field. You have these weird rotations you're having to roll out. You honestly, they're still trying to figure out who I don't even know if they're not even switching guys off from the boundary to the field anymore. They're kind of keeping them in the same spot. Like they're trying to figure out maybe we do this kind of more of a strong and a free thing. There have been some things back there that have been really dynamic that I think coach has done. He's I don't think this is his issue. This is just it's a situation where it's been a lot more dynamic, a lot less static than I think he would have hoped. So I'm not going to say he's underperforming and it's completely his fault. It's just been your best player, your most gifted player is a true freshman. And like how much can you really get him in? Can you start him? Catalan's kind of something's up with him. So I wouldn't put that on Coach Gideon, but you guys did hear what I said about the safeties. I mean, I feel like they're a concern, but I don't think that draws a direct line to Blake Gideon.
Alex, I will see you at 4:00 today. So have a fantastic one. Thank you for all the fascinating stuff, man. Alex, you're purely fascinating, and I don't mean that in a condescending way at all. It's really I like going in deep in the mind of Alex and learning more.
Hey, wait, and let me say this too to Adam DeLeon just before I leave. Yeah. So he's saying Alex will talk down on players, but scared to answer a question about the coaches. No, that's not true. I'm not going to. What I'm saying is, I'm not going to go into it about Blake. For one, I'm not talking. Did I talk down about a player today? Did I say anybody stinks? Did I say anything like that?
No, maybe that's a general comment that he's making.
Yeah,
I don't think it's anything specific as to your appearance today.
Well, Adam DeLeon, he sounds like a guy that might have some kind of maybe remembers maybe something I could have said at some point to kind of bring that back up again. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I feel like I laid it out there. I talked about how the safeties, it does feel to me like there is some struggles when the commenter asked about it. I don't draw a direct line back to Coach Gideon for that. If I did, I would have told you. I don't ever hold back the way I feel about this stuff. So yeah, man, thanks so much for having me on, War. Thank you, Aaron. I'll see you guys soon, man.
All right, see you, Alex. See you, Alex.
Thank you guys. Peace.
Alex Dunlap, you learned something new today. Lord, he is fascinating. By the way, ATX Big Rich, are you still here? ATX Big Rich, hollering at you to see if you are still around. Alex Dunlap, baby, and I will be on his show at 4:00 today. And I don't know, like last week, he asked me some off-topic stuff. I don't even know what we talked about football-wise, but he does have a mind that works in a unique way. That's all Alex, and it's fascinating. I like learning about different things and different people. And just because I don't do it doesn't mean I can't appreciate it. And that's kind of the thing that I do appreciate about Alex. So thank you, Alex. I appreciate 100% that. All right, Aaron, I'm supposed to have a guest in 5 minutes. We can either finish up some buy or sell until my guest comes. Would you like to do it? You want to do a break real quick? Like, what are you thinking? Give me thumbs up to break, or give me a thumbs up to more buy or sell. Okay, thumbs up, break. Thumbs up, thumbs down, buy or sell. Break. All right, let's do a break. No, thumbs down, buy or sell. Damn it, do something. Just either go to break or just I'm just gonna sit here and see. It's either something pops up on the screen or I'm out. Okay, here we go. That was too confusing. Oh, he is so funny. Alice is great. Where did ATX Big Rich go? I lost ATX Big Rich. He had a question. He had a question earlier when we were talking about Dion, and then I wanted to talk to him personally, but he's gone. So if he's ATX Big Rich, you watch this on replay. Come on back in. I want to talk to you. Kylie Davis, buy or sell? We gain another commitment before OU. Ooh. Man, I wish you would have asked that. You could say that for Jason. I wish you could ask that to Jason because I'm not. Push. I got to push on that one. The part of me wants to buy on that one because I know there's some guys who are close, and I know Jason has mentioned some guys who are close, but I don't have I don't have a pulse of that. So Kylie, this is what I want you to do. Sukamel. Wait, I just had Sukamel in yesterday. So hold on. I'm gonna DM him right now. I'm gonna answer this right now. I have a buy or a sell question live. I'm gonna ask a buy or sell Texas. I'm gonna ask this to Jace right now. It's another commitment before OU. I'm sending that to Jason. I'll have an answer for you. I'm going to let Jason answer that for you the best way he can. All right. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to defer to the people who I think are experts in this field. Soto 806, buy or sell. When you come to Lubbock when Texas plays Tech and basketball and we go and have drinks, I will sell on that one. I don't cover the basketball team. So because I don't cover the basketball team, that's it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I could go, but I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go just to watch them play basketball. I can go down to Moody on that one. So, Soto, why are you not coming to Austin? Soto, why are you not coming to Austin to have drinks? We have there's games every weekend or every other weekend or whatever the games here. The Moody's over here. I know it's a little bit of a drive for you. Are you going to Texas OU? There's got to be, but no, don't go to. I'm never going to Lubbock again ever unless you guys are handing out checks. You're handing out checks, I will absolutely be there. But if you're not handing out checks, I'm not going to Lubbock. So now our alternative would be, maybe we could do like a virtual party, and maybe we could do like a watch party for a game, and then that could be our alternative. That's not a bad idea. Just do like a watch party. I'll just do a Zoom party, and we can just watch a couple of games and just come on in, have a drink a couple of different nights. Maybe I'll do that. By the way, on that other question, on that buy or sell question, Jason told me to sell on that one. He said Terry Bussey announces tomorrow, but that'll probably be Texas A&M. So there you go, Kyle. You got your questions answered. See, there you go. And I would have just tried to BS you, and then you would have been looking at me like I was an idiot when it was all said and done. We'll do one more. I know Colin's setting up real quick, so let's do one more, and then we'll go from there. Buy or sell from Julio. Buy or sell at the end of the season, you will let loose on Fetch for the players that he pointed out that are dudes that he was wrong on after the Big Troll. Yes, buy on that mysterious person that rhymes with Fetch. Absolutely. First and foremost, it will start with Quinn Ewers, and then I will absolutely work my way down from there. But it will be a Quinn. It will be a Quinn redemption thing. I like how that person tried to act like, I don't know why people think I'm so negative on Quinn. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird to me that people think I'm so negative. Quinn, I said he'd be a first round pick, and I said I graded him really high on this one game, and everyone else graded him low. It's like, I don't know why people aren't remembering the two things I said, and they keep focusing on the 50 to 60 negative things that I said over a year and a half. I don't know. It just throws me off. So yes, I'll start with Fetch and Quinn, and then we'll kind of work our way down. All right, guys. I told you guys I was really, really excited about this. I told you guys this guy is like it's so fascinating, right? Because he's like, you see him and he's quiet. And then all of a sudden when he talks, he has this an amazing personality. And then he starts giving you these stats and numbers that just are original research that just blow your mind away. I know I'm pumping him up. And maybe he comes in here and it's like a total dud. And you're just like, man, this guy sucks. But I seriously doubt it. Let's go to the Speakeasy Lounge and let's bring in Collin Wilson. Good morning to you, Collin. How are you?
That introduction is like, if he isn't absolutely fantastic, he's a complete failure. So the bar is set so high now. But thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you from Colin Wilson for the Action Network. It's just, by the way, I love your background, by the way. That is amazing. What, tell me, can you give me an idea what went into this?
Yeah, it's crazy. I told my dad, I was like, listen, I'm going to be on camera and no one wants to look at the grill. So I need a really nice background. And my dad builds houses in Northwest Arkansas, right around Razorback Stadium. And he said, you know what? I can build you a cubby shelf. You can stick helmets in it. We can put some LED lights. I was like, Dad, I don't know. Like, this is like my dad's fantasy to build something for his son. So he builds this cubby hole. He fills it with lights, and I can change these colors and everything. And was happy enough to have the Action Network sign. So got it all together, and it looks great. Other than I don't have a Texas helmet in there because my Arkansas roots, my Arkansas grandparents would probably kill me if I had anything Texas in this house.
But however, you're not Texas adverse when it comes to talking about the Longhorns or your predictions or anything to that effect. I think you've been pretty high on them. But give me your thought process before we talk about Kansas game. Give me your thoughts on what you've seen from Texas so far this season. I'm assuming you probably watched the Alabama game, probably hadn't really dug deep into Rice or Wyoming, but with what you've seen, what's been your impression so far?
Well, the Rice game really threw me off because Rice had like 10 tackles for loss. They were in the backfield. They challenged that Texas offensive line that entire game. Really confused me because Texas couldn't get their run game going, and I didn't have Rice front seven on my bingo card as being any kind of problem, but they gave Texas some problems there. And it turns out Rice is just really good. I know they lost their game last week, but JT Daniels got hurt, but they've been really good in the trench and on the defensive line. And you have to think that Texas was just overlooking to Alabama because they were fantastic against Alabama in the trench. They dominated that offensive line. Quinn Ewers has been, almost flawless. He only has one turnover-worthy play so far this year. I know it says 9 TDs and no interceptions, but he's been mistake-free. And the fact that Texas is able to line up in Tuscaloosa, drain clock, and run the ball is really all you need to know that this team is a national title contender.
I mean, have you ever seen something like that with a team go on the road in Tuscaloosa? I mean, he only had Saban had 8 losses at home going into the game. And to your point, like the Texas goes and they go into that and be able to kneel down at the end of the game and that victory formation. Had you ever seen that too often, or have it that doesn't really happen that often?
No, I mean the only way to beat Bama is if you get into a shootout with them, because sometime around a decade ago, Nick Saban's like, forget it. I think running the ball and grinding the Trent Richardson 3 yards of cloud of dust that's over with, and we got to go to a spread. And then in 2020, during the pandemic season, you see just how lethal they were with Mac Jones and Devonta Smith. And that was the new blueprint for all teams in college football. So for Texas to come in there and own the trench is different than anybody else has ever done to Alabama. And to me, it's like somebody that follows recruiting. Like I think of Tommy Brockenmeyer, right? A kid that grew up in the state of Texas, was, just family, lifelong Texas Longhorns. And he decides in his recruiting process to go to Alabama because he thought it gave him the best chance to get to the pros. Well, look at it today. The Texas offensive line and defensive line dominated Alabama in a game. I mean, it's just such a flip what Sark's been able to do to get the recruits and to get them to execute.
So you mentioned the word natty, and I know we're 4 games in. So first and foremost, I've had a slight gripe, and I want to get your opinion on this from the polls. Okay, for the teams that are ranked ahead of Texas, do any one of them have in 2023, not in 2022, not in 2021, not in the past? Does any one of them have a quality win on their schedule that the same way that Texas does? Because I think a case can be made that they should be number 1 based off of 2023. but it doesn't seem like everyone's on with that. It still seems like they're holding on to the past.
It's kind of this thing where people don't want to admit that Texas is good because they feel like they're going to get burned. And this is the one. I mean, when I met you a year ago, Anwar, over a year ago at Media Days, I said, is Texas back? I don't know. And then they put up all these great numbers. I came strolling into Media Day and told everybody, get your money down. The Longhorns are going to dominate this conference. They're going to challenge for a national title. And it's just because they've completely exceeded all expectations from a statistical standpoint. They are just much better than everybody else. And who else has a signature win up in that top 8? And I know AP voters are kind of fickle, right? They don't want to get burned for picking Texas and everything. But right now, there legitimately is 11 teams that could win the national title, and Texas is right at the front.
So right now, I'm kind of curious. You saw Sark, obviously year 1, 5-7. Year 1, you see the 8. So what about you? Are you a believer? Do you need to see a little bit more for you to say? Because I know they're in the hunt now, but do you think they've got some staying power based off anything you see or data or anything to that effect?
No, they are following up what they did last year. Right now, they are a top 10 defense and 2 areas that I handicap big time, which is quality drives and finishing drives. How often are you letting your opponent get down the field? Well, they're top 10 and not allowing that. And they're top 10 in finishing drives, which says, what does your opponent do once they score the 40-yard, get past the 40-yard line? How many points are they scoring? Texas is one of the best in the nation in some of the advanced metrics that I look at, both offensively and defensively. And the fact that they've been able to trim their mistakes on the offensive side, even without Bijan Robinson, I mean, trying to find a running back there to replace him, Quinn Ewers' progression, there's just a lot less mistakes being made by this team. I absolutely think they're national title contenders, and you got to have explosive wide receivers, and they have 2 of them. So they're definitely players.
What is your thoughts on that? On Kansas and Texas, they play this upcoming week. 2 teams that are ranked, 2 teams that are 4-0. They've got Jalen Daniels, as we know, their defense is better than they have been in the past on Kansas. It's not just a Jalen Daniels thing, but you've seen Texas and you also seen their defensive line and what they've been able to attack. That I'm just kind of curious give me your breakdown of that game this upcoming weekend.
So Kansas is one of the toughest handicaps to put together when I break down games. And that's because on the offense, you just can't put numbers against numbers and say, well, this is what's going to happen. Because what Lance Leipold does is he uses an extreme amount of motion. Every single snap, there's guys moving all over the place in pre-snap. And the reason why teams like Iowa State have so much success against that is because they don't move anybody in their secondary. Motion is a way that offenses use so the defenses can tip their hand in coverage and show the quarterback pre-snap what's going to happen. So if you stay still, you don't give that read to Jalen Daniels, and you can keep him, if your edges can keep him in the pocket, then you can dominate him. Now, I say all that because this is what happened last year, and Texas won 55-14. Jalen Daniels could only make good plays and passing downs when he was behind schedule. And even then they were dump offs and his targets did a lot of the work. So I think Texas is built defensively to not fall for the motion. They didn't last year. And they're built to have their edges contain Jalen Daniels. And that is the key to covering that whopping spread of 17.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that 17 seemed a lot to me. Is that something that you feel good about, that 17? Or is that a little bit too much?
No, my numbers made it 18.5, and I think I think SP Plus made it 19.5. So I would say there's some meat on the bone here, especially with some 16.5s in the market, that there is value on betting Texas. And yeah, Kansas. There's some gripes that I have with Kansas. First off, they played the 121st strength of schedule this year. I mean, BYU, Nevada, Illinois, Missouri State. I mean, it's just not murderer's row what they're doing. But the one thing that I have a problem with is I mentioned the stat finishing drives, and that's how many points do you score when you have the opportunity? And Kansas's defense is second to last in the nation in allowing teams to convert touchdowns once they get past the 40. That's even worse when I just tell you the teams that they played, Nevada, Illinois, Missouri State, those offenses were able to generate that many touchdowns. I think there's some hidden stats here that say that Texas can easily get a touchdown every time they go down the field and cover this spread.
Wow. Okay. So if I know about Texas at this moment, let's go outside. Let's go outside. Give me who's the second best team in the Big 12 right now in your opinion?
That was a question I had in July. I'm like, all right, I had no problem putting Texas over the top. Who is team number 2? because everyone thought it was going to be Texas Tech, but they analytically, they have fallen off the map. They have just not been there whatsoever, but that was the hot name back in the summer. Kansas State not having as much success in the trench. Oklahoma State, Iowa State just engulfed in so many quarterbacks and problems and off the field. You know, it's tough. I mean, at this point, I don't know who you're putting up in that second slot. I'm open for interpretation because Baylor is having massive holes at offensive line and secondary. You're not going to win any games when you have problems there. Yeah. To me, I mean, it's going to be Oklahoma, which I didn't believe in Oklahoma either. And we saw how they punted like 7 times in a row against SMU's defense. I'm still not a true believer in Oklahoma, but by default, it looks like Oklahoma is going to be the number 2 team.
Does that make Brett Yormark's head explode if he has the Texas and OU in the Big 12 championship game at that point?
He just wants to call Dion and say, can you pack your bags, get in here to the Big 12 now, maybe fill in that spot so our halftime show's huge, bring all those sideline guys down. So Brett Yormark's going to throw a big party at the Big 12 championship. He probably wants a better game.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you 2 more and I'll let you get out. And speaking of Dion, what do your numbers and metrics show you about Colorado? Obviously, last week happened. Oregon did happen. Is that the sign of things to come based off of what you've seen?
I knew it was coming with Oregon because Oregon is a machine at home. Bo Nix never makes a mistake. It's the number 1 offense in terms of, I said, quality drives, finishing drives. They're number 1 in the nation by far, and no one goes to Autzen and gets away with it. That being said, I am pretty loaded up on Colorado to cover above 21.5 this weekend against USC because USC is the most penalized team in the country, and they cannot get out of their own way. And their defense, they've played the 130th strength of schedule, and they allowed Arizona State to go up and down the field and score some points. I think Colorado has a real chance to trade explosive play with explosive play. Caleb and Shedeur just going back at each other. I like Colorado to cover that number.
Is there anything else that you love going into this weekend?
Arkansas and Texas A&M is the Southwest Classic. I miss the Southwest Conference. I grew up on that. But, in this game, you're going to see a lot of explosive plays, but the defense is really what makes this game an over game is because both defenses are heavy on havoc. They like to attack the quarterback. They have tackles for loss, but both of them are giving up massive explosive plays. Think about what BYU did to Arkansas. Think about what Miami did to Texas A&M. There's going to be some big plays here. They're not going to move the chains. It's not going to be methodical. It's going to be just explosive plays and sacks. So I like the over in that game.
All right. Last thing, Colin, I'll let you get out. Who's your top 4 right now? Who's your top 4? If you got your bowl projections and we got CFP projections, who do you got right now?
Well, I leave the bowl stuff to Brett because he gets such a bad reaction from people when they get to the table. Yeah, I don't want to touch this file. I got Georgia, Texas, Penn State, and Washington. And those are – I don't think anybody could put any holes into that scenario being the college football playoff right now. They all come from different conferences. They're all dominating right now. Georgia, we're going to find out a lot more about. Their defense, I think, is asleep at the wheel like they were last year.
All right, Colin Wilson, tell everyone how they can find you and everything that you guys are doing. A great content over at the Action Network, which, by the way, it looks backwards when you're on screen. So just want to throw that out there. But yes, for those of us who are not dyslexic, tell us more about the Action Network.
Yeah, so if you flip it around, it says Action. But yeah, you can go to actionnetwork.com. My Twitter handle is @_Collin1, COLLIN. I do the Big Bets on podcast with my partner Stuckey. We cover every game from Texas and Alabama all the way down to New Mexico State. If there's an angle, we're going to attack it. So you can find that BBOC podcast over at the Action Network.
All right, guys, you guys go support him. He was good. I told you it would be good. You lived up to it, Colin. I promise I won't talk nasty about you once you get off the show. You did fantastic, and thank you for coming on. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Anwar. See you soon.
All right, take care. Colin Wilson from the Action Network. Again, real good stuff. Always good information that he has there. There's another shot that you guys have to take. Another shot. This is it. It's my life. It's my life, baby. You've come behind here. You've come behind the veil. And you now know this is what I deal with. All right. We have not done a break in a while. So let's do another break. And let's do this. I do have some social media standouts, so we're going to keep this party going. So I will have some social media standouts coming soon. So let's do a quick break, and then I'll come back. Let's have some fun. You guys do your shots. You already know what time it is.
Last week, if I pull up my sheet, some of the things that we kind of touched on were Zach Wilson is who we thought he was. 3 interceptions. Bounces back this week. 50% completion percentage. Loses to the New England Patriots with opportunity. Sam Laporta, big game potentially coming. He hits that big game, scores 22 fantasy points in this one. Jalen Hyatt's role must expand if the Giants are going to win. Jalen Hyatt's role did diminish. He did nothing on Thursday Night Football against the Niners, and they got walked like a dog. The reason Zach Charbonnet was not playing is because he's not as good as Ken Walker, and Ken Walker's in his element. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. And Justin Fields is gonzo in Chicago. That was on Monday. For those of you that tuned in and watched live on Monday, I said Justin Fields is done. And then all hell broke loose on Tuesday with a press conference of him calling out his coach. On Wednesday with him fixing that and saying, oh, no, it was me. Always blame me. Well, we're blaming you. We're blaming you, Justin. That's what we're doing. We love you for fantasy football when you're competent, but you haven't been competent. For NFL, you have not progressed one bit. And everyone wants to say, well, the coaches around him could really help him progress. It takes work to progress. There's a reason Johnny Manziel never progressed. Johnny Manziel didn't work. Johnny Manziel didn't put in the effort to progress in the NFL to make it work. He also had a bunch of other stuff going on against himself. Now, maybe Justin Fields is fantastic off the field, the polar opposite of Johnny Manziel. But what it shows us on the field is that he's not putting in that true work. He's not putting in the things we're hearing from Anthony Richardson, right? The 8 hours a day in the film study. But Anthony Richardson has progressed further in 6 months than Justin Fields has in 3 years. Put that together. Doesn't make sense.
So nonetheless, here's the thing. If I start correcting people when they mispronounce my name, then next time they come on, no one does shots. So I'm kind of just torn between it. So you know what I'm gonna do? Here's what I'm gonna do. So this is what I'm gonna do next time. I'm going to speak in the third person the next time it happens. And then see, I'm like, yes, it's just like the life of Anwar. And then see if they pick up on it and then correct it the next time. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to speak in the third person, see if they pick up on it. And then if not, then we maybe do like double shots. Like I don't know. We got to figure it out. It's funny, but Colin, nonetheless, really good knowledge, good information, Action Network. Those guys do really good work over there. Don't know how familiar you are with the Action Network, but really good content that's out there for those who like to wager on sports or just learn and get some good numbers. They go into a lot of good details. So I don't bring some people on that I wouldn't co-sign on. So really, I like that. All right, let's do some social media standouts. Let's have some fun. It's a good old Wednesday. My main man, Doc Texas, makes a really, really great observation. I like Texas owns Bama 8-2. He goes, Georgia has not played a single ranked opponent this season. And he says, assuming OU doesn't lay an egg versus Iowa State, Texas will have faced 3 ranked opponents by the end of next Saturday. Hey, it goes to the thing that I keep saying is that Texas, I believe, should be the number 1 ranked team in the country right now. I will continue to say that I think the voters are getting it wrong. I will continue to say that they should not be voting based off the past. Voting is supposed to be a 2023 thing. That's what they're supposed to be voting on. And this whole, like, everything sorts itself out. No, it doesn't have to sort itself out. Sort it out now. Texas right now went on the road. They beat Bama. They have a better wins than Georgia. They have a better wins than Michigan at this moment. Stop basing it off the past. Base it off the present. It's real simple. I'm totally down what Doc says. 100% riding with him on that one. And I understand, okay, too many times you've been burned in the past decade. And I get what he said that, and I get what Colin said. It makes 100% sense. But nonetheless, It is what it is. And we're still talking about this today. That's what I don't like about the voting part. It's like my whole point. It's 2023. It's not 2019. It's not about these other years. It's about what they're doing now. And you've got to respect what they're doing now. By the way, Aaron, before you do the next one, I don't think I mentioned anything from Specs yet, right? So let me do Specs before I get too far at the end of the show. And let's hear from Specs, though.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
All right, cheers to savings, absolutely. And you're right. We probably should honestly just do away with polls up until about week. I wouldn't be. The problem is it gives people something to talk about, and it's good content and a good filler for everyone, and it gets people talking about college football week in and week out. So it kind of serves that purpose because guess what? I'm talking about the polls, right? Other people are talking about the polls, so it serves its purpose even if it ends up being slightly controversial. Let's do another second one. Let's do another of one of our social media standouts. Kieran, the man, the myth, the legend, the person I'll have to have on my show because Catch always gets snags in before I do. He says the SEC chant at the Big 12 Championship when Texas and OU are playing is going to hit so hard. Are you guys, listen, are you guys going to chant SEC at the Big 12 Championship game when Texas and OU are there? Like, will we hear a chorus of Texas and OU fans in unison, chanting SEC? I am telling you. I'm going to be honest with you. I will lead the drum on that one. Absolutely. I don't know how you would have to get it together. I don't know, but there would have to be in unison that chant in the Big 12 Championship game. Ooh, petty. Oh, I would love it. I would ask. I just, please, baby Jesus, make it happen. Please, baby Jesus, make it happen. All right, let's do another one, Aaron. Let's do another one. We'll just blow through all these. Lacey Mitchell. It is interesting, you know, this whole thing that people have posted, and it's like it's such a weird thing. And I think Lacey just asked the question, like, what world are we living in when y'all are begging Kansas to pick you up? I mean, yeah. I mean, come on. Like if you're living in a world where you're having to root for Kansas to beat Texas, like, I don't know where your world is at. Lacey is 100% correct on that one. Go ahead and pop up another one, Aaron. You don't have to go back to my smiling little face. Stephen Holder. I know Stephen. We used to cover the Tampa Bay Buccaneers together. He used to work at the used to be called the St. Pete Times. I think it's called the Tampa Bay Times now. And he said something I think that's really interesting. And I think cooler heads are starting to prevail as relates to this conversation. Because it may be an unpopular take, whatever, but I think we're making entirely too much about the pregame speech. It's intended to serve one purpose, to fire up his players. That's it. We don't have to write think pieces about it. It ain't that serious. And you know what? At the end of the day, Dan Lanning was speaking to his team, and you say things to fire up your team. You will talk, and maybe you say a couple of bad things about the other team in order to fire up your team. And it's quite all right, to be quite honest with you. It's okay in what he said. And I do think that people have made it into a little bit more than what it needs to be. So I 100% agree with Steven. How many more do we got, Aaron? Okay. We'll do this one. We'll do one more. We'll do this last one. Okay. All right. I want everyone to get your math mind ready. Everybody get your math mind ready. Here you go. A man steals $100 from a store's register. Then he buys $70 worth of goods at the store using the $100 bill and then gets $30 in change, how much money did the store lose? Leave that up there, Aaron. I want you guys to put the answer in the chat. Everybody put your answer in the chat. I'll let you read it. I'll shut up because I'll let you do the math. Go ahead and put your answers in there. I see 100 coming in. I see $1.70. Look at this. Isn't this one? I gotta see 140. Look at you get 577. I'm gonna tell you what I know. I did the math. I'm waiting for someone. Jared Neal has the right answer. Rhett Moore, 77, has the right answer. C. Sherman has the correct answer. So check this out. Watch this. Watch this. The man steals $100 from the store, right? So that's already $100 lost. He then buys $70 worth of goods from that store, right? So now that's a $70 loss. So now he's lost 100 and then he's lost 70. So they've lost that. So he's already lost 100. 100's gone. Now he buys 70. So now the 70's gone. He gets $30 in change. It should add up, I believe, to be $200 because he's already lost that. Right? Is that correct? So I've got 200 down. Somebody else smarter than me? I got 200 seems like to be, it looks like he's lost 170 and 30 because he already lost a $100 bill. That's gone. $70 is gone. But then again, if you guys got another one, isn't that something? That's a hard, I think that some of you guys are saying 170. We are all over the place on this one. I see 130. He gave back the 100. Or you say, so he gave back the 100. So you're getting some of it. So you're saying you're getting some of that 100 back. So it's 70. So then so you get $70 worth of it. So is it 100 then? So then hold on. Let's do this again. So then it's $100 that only leaves the store, right? Look at us went to public school. So he takes 100 from the store, then he buys $70 worth of goods that he uses at that store. So that's $70 that's gone. Then plus 30, right? So he still kept 30. He spent 70. So that's 100. And then he gets $30 in change. So is it 130? Am I dumb? Like Aaron's like, now I'm thinking 100. Weird. Somebody look. Hold on, keep it up there, Aaron. Somebody who's going to give me the right answer? Is it just 100? I see 200. I see Florida Longhorn is tripping out. Nate, you're saying you're shaking your head, but you didn't give me an answer. We are all over the place. He left the store with the food and 30, so 100. Text guy, got it. 100. 100. Is everyone in unison? It's saying 100. Can we get everyone in unison here? So I got text guys got 100. Rhett Moore says it's either 200 or 30. The bill's 100. This is all right, guys. I don't know. Doug is saying 100. Doug thinks it's 100 as well. Don is now saying it's 100. You know how long it's taking us to get there? This is absolutely amazing. I went with 200. I thought 200 was the right answer, but I think it's all right. Everyone is saying it's 100. Simple math and it's logic. All right. I think the unison answer is now doubled down to 100. Woo, Robert, you are absolutely correct. That is painful. Robert in the super chat. saying that is absolutely this. It was painful. That thing was painful for a second, right? I know now it's simple, but this is like 5 minutes later. I mean, everybody, I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch how many people said $100 when we first did this, because we were all over the place. We had 200, 130, 70. Like, I heard it all. Someone says my understanding of math. I promise I won't do that again. But I saw that, and I thought that was really interesting and intriguing. Okay. Fantastic day. Fun show. I always enjoy everybody. Appreciate you. So I will be on with Chad because I don't think catches out of pocket today. So I will be helping Chad out sometime at 1 o'clock or so, somewhere in there. And then I'll be back on with Alex. So maybe I need to go grab my food now, to be quite honest with you. I need to go grab some food and then get ready for what it's doing again. Chris Nelson said, don't do that again, Anwar. I promise you. I won't do it again, Chris. I won't do it again. But it did hurt my head. And here's the problem. I'll say this in closing. And I have kids, and I'm supposed to help them with their stuff in school. I'm like, son, you're on your own. That's what my property taxes are going for. If those teachers can't help you, I don't know what to tell you, because I'll enroll you in Kumon. I can pay for that, but I can't do the rest of the stuff. No, sir. You guys enjoy your day. I will be back on all throughout the day. It's been fun. Tomorrow we got prize picks that are coming. So we got Sark tomorrow. Friday will be a fun Friday and everything. Oh, we got one more super chat. Aaron said we got one more super. We ain't going nowhere because we bad boy for life. Okay. We all like Whit. But he just isn't an explosive player. For that reason, shouldn't we be trying to get Cook in on the field more? I know what Whit blocks well. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, Jay Lee. You're right. He's not explosive. That's where I kind of unpopular when over the past year or so, when people would ask him to talk about Jordan Whittington as a draft pick. I'm like, no, is that not a draft pick? And he gets signed as an undrafted free agent, but he doesn't score touchdowns. So because he doesn't score touchdowns, it's gonna be hard for him to be a draft pick. But to your point, you got to have it. You got Jordan Whittington knows where to be at all times. He is very reliable. He is going to win those one-on-one balls. And so, you want Cook kind of in that explosive situation and being able to do those things. I mean, and so Jordan Whittington is going to be the person that you use underneath and other stuff. So there's just something to be said for veteran leadership and letting Cook learn and develop. So I would just give that some time. But I get what you're saying. But not everybody's going to be explosive. Some people serve a role, and I think Jordan Whittington serves his role, and he does his role really well as far as what he's asked to do. But you get your explosiveness from those other guys that are outside, and then you just let Cook, sit in that oven. I guess you let him cook, for lack of better terms, and then you come back with it. Good question though, Jay Lee. All right, guys, I'll be here on this channel. I'm gonna grab some lunch. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Aaron, for producing. Thank you, Colin, for doing his thing, and we'll see if we'll put this thing as a separate, maybe that interview, and post that thing online so you guys can watch it a little bit later on and send that thing on to your friends. And of course, thanks to Alex, who came in with just some fascinating knowledge that he always does and always has. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, I say live each day like it is your last, because one day it will be.